Welcome to the garage. I'm Chris. My friends call me the Candyman, and you already know what time it is. Tonight, we're drafting best ball teams. We've got the golden about to fill. I hope you got it in. I drafted mine earlier today. Ended up pretty good, if I do say so myself. The Schnauzer 2 is out. It's a 20 max, $3 entry. Plenty of time to get in. 180,000 entrants, $500,000 in prizes. We had the German Shepherd close in record time. How many slows did you have to enter? I want to know if you were able to max that contest via fast only. I'd be very impressed. I've got 15 slow German Shepherds going. Somehow, like 6 of them have CD Lamb. Could be good. Could be a good thing. Still haven't gotten a Jamar Chase in about a month. So we're on the hunt for Jamar Chase tonight. We're going to see if we can do it in these 20 seconds per pick, the Schnauzer 2s. So get in here. Make sure you hit the like. Jump in the chat. Come draft with the channel. A lot of sharp people in here. We have great guests on all the time. And we're going to be drafting all summer long. If you're watching this in the future, if you're new to the channel, come on in and let's draft some best ball teams. Without further ado, let's kick it to the intro once I can find the clip. But overall, it's like the guy can ball. Like actions speak louder than words. How we doing tonight, fellas? What's going on? What's good? Appreciate you stopping by. Of course, Tyler, the emo cowboy, the latest, greatest guest on BALLSY. This last week on BINDLES channel. If you haven't caught up, if you haven't seen the episode, I highly recommend it. Go check it out. Make sure you're subscribed to BINDLES channel, link in description. But I know you already are. So speaking of the stud, he's ballsy. He doesn't take shit from anyone. He smokes his stogies inside. It's the one, the only, BINDLES, who is going live tomorrow for some Dynasty talk, players you should be trading for right now. Check it out. We've got Hartman, the OG, the first loser. Next up for Jeopardy? What an honor. Nick Bach winning the flex, also streaming regularly. Make sure you check him out. He's been on the channel, been over there. We've been drafting limbs together, and we'll be drafting more together this summer, no doubt. Always get it in, brother. Appreciate you. Just messing with you, giving you a hard time. If you haven't checked out the Fanspeak Network Best Ball Jeopardy, catch up. We're only 4 episodes in. You got plenty of time before the brackets continue on. It's going to be a fun time. Check it out on Twitter. Check it out on YouTube if you don't already know. 300 soon. Approaching. Yep. We'll have to do a 300 themed stream, maybe with some, scantily clad Greek warriors in the overlay or the background. Who knows? We'll brainstorm it during this draft. Oh, that's me. Hello. What's up? Vape. What's up, brother? Always good to see you. Hope you're doing good, getting these drafts in. And I think it's time we enter. I have not done a single Schnauzer 2 yet. I'm going to hit enter right now. Let's get it. What up, disbanded brotherhood? How we doing? How's your Wednesday? Wednesday night? Is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday. June 11th. How we doing, everyone? What's going on? What are you up to this weekend? What are you drafting these days? Are you maxing all of these tournaments that Underdog is popping out? Hope so, because they come and they go. The summer is gonna keep rolling along. Oh, you guys made it in here. Very nice. I mean, that thing filled quick. This is my first Schnauzer since the original Schnauzer, so I haven't done any Speaking of 300, we've got Sir King Leonidas in the draft room. Appreciate you being here, King Leonidas. Means so much to me on the road to 300. Of course, I did not get the 101. This is not the streamer influencer 101 type of broadcast. This is more of a 111, 112 type of show. So we're in the 105. That's about as good as it ever gets. And I got Nick Bach in the 6, Vape in the 8. How we doing, brothers? What's good? Yeah, I'm interested to get into these Schnauzer streets. It's been a while. I've got 15 slow German Shepherds going. I don't love that, honestly. Not a fan. The Degens came out hard. They maxed that thing in 36 hours. If it was up to me, I would have done them all fast. I only got 5 fasts in, and I fell asleep doing one of them at like 2 a.m. a couple nights ago. Steve was in that draft room. Wild times. What are we going to hit here? We're going to do a Saquon Barkley at 5. I think so. Win in Rome. If Saquon falls to 5, get some exposure. Obviously, this is a very heavy Gibbs, CD, Justin Jefferson type of stream situation. Love them. I need to get more Puka. I'm not really hitting the 7 spot that often these days. It's either 12, 11, or not 1, not 7. Gotta even this thing out a little bit. Maybe with these 20 Schnauzers, we can do that. I mean, I looked at the fill rate. Let me go. I'm on my phone. I'm going to look back at the Schnauzer. Schnauzer 2, 20% filled. So we got some ground to make up. We're going to max this thing. We should have 4 or 5 done already. This is the first one. But I did get my golden in earlier today, and I might show you guys that team on here on stream. I don't mean to brag, but my golden team, watch out. I pulled Lamar Jackson up in the 3rd round to, I think, pick 28. Around there. Stacked him with Zay Flowers on the way back at 52 it was. So that makes sense. Yep, I took Lamar Jackson at 28, Zay Flowers at 52, and Justin Jefferson in the 4 spot. The rest of the team, you'll have to see it. Masterpiece. Came out exactly how I wanted. Justin Herbert, 20 picks past ADP. And it's a 3 QB build with Lamar Jackson. I've got Dak Prescott stacked up with George Pickens. I might have to show this team off. I think I cooked a little bit on that one. I did my Greyhound a couple days ago over the weekend. That one looks like it's actually moving pretty slow, so I'm a little bit surprised. I did not expect the German Shepherd to fill so fast. I kind of thought the Greyhound, just because it's a 1 entry max, would have been the first to go, but the $35 price point and the fact that you can only enter 1 time, I think those 2 factors makes it fill just a little bit slower. Of course, the $5 price and the 20 max on the German Shepherd. Steve and I were talking about this last night on the stream. It's like if 500 people max it, that's half of the tournament filled essentially. So it went very quick. Did you get your German Shepherds in? How many fast did you do? Ayo, Tyler. How we doing, brother? Appreciate you being here. Hope you're having a great Wednesday night. Still thinking about that ballsy stream. Always a fun time having you on, my man. The number 7, like from the fantasy dog, my dog. Appreciate you. Make sure you guys tap that like button. Do your boy a favor. Yeah, what up, Tyler? Roofy, what's up, brother? In the 7th spot. Saw you pop up in the draft. Hell yeah. Roofy. That's right. My bad. I connect the dots when I can, but you know how I am with names. Never been good with names. I try. But Roofy, won't forget it again. Appreciate you being here. Hope you're having a great Wednesday night. And how many schnauzers have you guys done? What number? This is my first schnauzer. I've been, not like I've been holding off on doing it. I've been trying to take care of business in all of these other tournaments, like the German Shepherd and the Golden. They've been closing so fast. So it's Devontae Adams here for me. I'm on a big Devontae Adams kick lately. Can't stop, won't stop drafting Devontae Adams. Probably the best pick in the 3rd round, if you ask me, especially after, Bucky's gone, Trey McBride, Chase Brown, Rashee Rice, Devontae Adams time. Might need to adjust my ranks. I do set my own ranks, and they're pretty up to date. I update them about 4 times a week, just whenever any news pops out. Anytime I hear someone sharp say something that sticks, makes me think twice, I'll adjust the ranks. And now that Underdog has had, they've included the ability to update your rankings in the phone, just, swiping up and swiping down rather than having to go through the desktop. It makes it so much more accessible. So I find myself updating my ranks pretty much every other day. And I think I do need to move Devontae Adams up just a little bit more. It's hard. It's tough. You don't want to be out, and you don't want to fade necessarily any of the, in my opinion, you don't really want to fade anyone in the first 3 rounds so hard. But you can make some small stands. You just need to know, even when you set your own rankings, that every once in a while you want to mix it up and either draft the players that, for instance, for me, for JSN, he goes pick 36 here. That's incredible. Things you'll see in a Schnauzer that you typically won't see in a Best Ball Mania. JSN going pick 36, incredible. I would want to mix in JSN at pick 29 pretty regularly. You see guys like Marvin Harrison Jr. going at pick 23. I mix him in when I can in the early 3rd round. Brace Hall goes 31. And I don't know how to explain it other than that. I mean, JSN just kind of falls in this one to pick 36. Haven't seen that. Honestly, have not seen that ever. That's the latest I've ever seen JSN go in a long time. Vape got 10 slows, 5 normal fast, and he multi-tabled 5 to get him done. Sometimes that's what it takes. I didn't have to multi-table any of them, but I did have to rush too fast in at the last moment because I was kind of minding. Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna go Hunter there. I was kind of like, I did some fasts. It was yesterday. It was Monday night, right? I did some fasts on Monday night. Tuesday, I was up in the morning and I noticed the fill rate had creeped up substantially. I said, wait a second. If this continues, this thing's going to fill today. So what I did was in the morning, I hit about 10 slows. And I said, that'll get me till 8 p.m. at night when I can do some more fasts. Wrong. I checked back at lunch. The tournament was 70% filled, 75% filled a minute later. I enter some more slows. Then it gets to 90% filled. I had been trickling in the slows. I had 2 entries left for the German Shepherd, and they cut off the slow drafts. So then I said, "Okay, well, now I have to enter fast. It's 2 p.m. and yesterday, and there's no chance that it was going to last until 8 p.m. for my next stream going live." So I made the decision. I said, you know what? I'm going to have to enter these two fasts, get him in. This feels like a good spot for Jalen Hurts. I've got Saquon, I've got Jalen Hurts. I'm pretty much locking up every rushing touchdown that the Philadelphia Eagles offense is going to produce next season. It's a good feeling. It's not the most it's not the team stack that you do with most teams, but with Jalen Hurts, with Saquon, I'm just going to capture all of those rushing touchdowns. I have been saying this for a while. Jalen Hurts in the 5th round, sign me up. I think he can go head to head with Josh Allen in any given week. Of course, Josh Allen does have, I would think you know, maybe a slightly higher ceiling because of his passing upside, but Jalen Hurts been getting it done, you know, with the touchdowns on the ground. This team is feeling pretty strong. The other factor I had to think about was, would I be okay with taking any of Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, or Matt Stafford as my QB2 on this team? And the answer is undoubtedly yes. So I pulled the trigger, took Jalen Hurts. Honestly, I don't think I would even want Devontae Smith, pick 44. It's a little rich to take 3 pieces from the same offense in the first 5 rounds. It's asking a lot. So I'll play it through the ground game. Don't necessarily even have to stack Hurts any more than that. And I don't even know how much I like that Week 17 game against the Bills. I'm not going to force a bring back on this one, but I'm going to be looking for this Jacksonville Indianapolis game, definitely this Rams and Falcons game, and then if I could do something with this Chargers Texans game. Those might be 3 games that I want to focus on for building out my Week 17 game stacks, and not necessarily being so focused on the Week 17 game stack for the Eagles and the Bills. Might not be the most attractive game. Olave goes, Jaden Reed goes. Both guys I like there. I could take another running back. I think I'm going to see who falls. Maybe no one does, but I'm going to go ahead and take Matthew Golden here. 2 rookie wide receivers, but I think 2 good ones. A little bit ahead of ADP for Matthew Golden. I'm very bullish on him. Easily could have taken Montgomery, Travion Henderson, James Conner. But with Saquon, I know I'm holding down one of my starting RB spots, you know, banking on those points. So I don't need so much for my RB2, RB3 situation. I'd rather lock down my 4th wide receiver before it gets too late. Hey, maybe Matthew Golden would have made it back around, but I like the upside there. I'm going to take a bet on it. I'm trying to figure out, it's Joe Mixon that fell. It was kind of surprising to me. I definitely would have taken Mixon at 68. I mean, who wouldn't? And then RJ Harvey, a slight faller as well. You see Alvin Kamara, you know, maybe Vape's just a big fan. I mean, as am I, but maybe Kamara is one of the beneficiaries, and definitely Ken Walker of the recent J.K. Dobbins, Nick Chubb news. So we'll see. I've got a feeling, Pacheco goes, I was hopeful that one of these running backs would make it back around, that I still feel really good about for my RB2. I am going to go Quinshon Judkins here. Judkins, all about it. Big fan. Not worried about the bye weeks at all. because the play would have been maybe I get James Conner here, David Montgomery, or Travion Henderson. Pick your favorite. There's a chance Matthew Golden still would have been there. I don't know what Fatty B or Big B would have done. I'm not as excited at the current moment about Diggs or Myers or Samuel as I am for Golden. So, and then, this pick 92 and 101, we'll see. I think there's some upside wide receivers I can go for there. If not, some upside running backs that I really like. So I'm just kind of trying to stay level. My build on this 22nd Schnauzer so far, it's a 1-2-4-0 with Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley from the 5 spot. Already fun. Quinshon Judkins, Lad McConkey, Devontae Adams, Travis Hunter, and Matthew Golden. Dragging in late. What up, Dirty P? Appreciate you being here. Hope you're having a great Wednesday night, man. Question of the day, Dirty P. Besides the poll, how many German Shepherds did you get in fast? Did you enter this tournament? Did you max this tournament? How many slows are you having to deal with? I've got 15 slows in the German Shepherd. Not happy about it. Although, I said earlier, I've got like 5 or 6 CD Lamb teams, so it kind of worked out. And you already know I don't have any Jamar Chase teams, so don't even ask. Have not gotten the 101 in a month. Yo, what up, Steve? How we doing? Great show earlier. I caught as much as I could. Always good. Super fun time on the stream last night. And yeah, entered the Golden, but not the Greyhound so far. Right on. I did my Golden earlier today. I might show it off after this draft if I remember. I might show it off on stream. I think it went pretty good. Jordan Mason would have been nice here. Jordan Mason was a click I was looking for. I've seen Patrick Mahomes go at pick 95s. I've seen Patrick Mahomes go at pick 75. You never know what you're going to get. I'm going to go with Scattaboo as my RB3. Feels really nice the way I'm building this out. With Jalen Hurts early, potentially looking for Herbert, Lawrence, Love at some point. But they don't go for a little while. Yeah, Steve and I were talking last night on the stream. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you go back and watch a really great one about eliminator strategy, and very timely. Steve posted an article on the FanSpeak Network Substack, which is a premium subscription. Check it out. I'm a subscriber. I'm a huge fan. You get premium articles and rankings for all the different underdog tournaments. So he had just posted an article on there about the eliminator strategy. Last night we ripped 3 eliminator drafts. All of them were pretty solid. I think one of them was very, very interesting. So we're definitely going to have to follow those. Gosh, how do I pass up on Fields? I can't take him though. I might do Kelsey. It's been a while since I've taken a Kelsey. I don't love Jalen Warren. Yeah, I got Kelsey. I was considering Trey Harris there. I don't need to force the double stack. It might have been a fun idea. I was honestly looking for Higgins, but he had gone. Higgins would have been a guy that would have been nice to have there. I didn't want Fields with Hurts. I could have gone Warren. I could have gone Trey Harris. But in my mind, I haven't taken Kelsey in a little while, and it felt like the time to do it. Pretty cheap price on a Travis Kelsey If you go back through the history books in these best ball tournaments, you're not going to find Kelsey any cheaper, and for good reason too. But I'm not really out. I don't think he's totally done yet. I think people are just tired of hearing his name in the news, and that is slightly pushing his price down. I think a fair price, and I'm not taking Kelsey every time either, because usually in this range, I do want the quarterback or still some running backs, some upside wide receivers that I like. So I'm more than happy to go late tight end. But if you told me that Travis Kelsey's price was pick 85, I probably wouldn't flinch. I would still be drafting him every once in a while at that price. So to get him at 101, I'm cool with it. Let's see. Pick 116, 125. Dirty P got 14 fast. Damn, son. So you didn't quite max it, but hey, if you got 14 fast, then that's pretty nice. GM, Texas Politics, how we doing? Very fun eliminators. Always a good time, Steve. Appreciate you coming on. Drafted this green bean. This is a 20-second schnauzer, and we're going to keep ripping them. So come on in if you're ready to rip some schnauz. I mean, I don't think I've heard anyone who's maxed it yet. If it's even possible to have maxed this yet. I think I am going to go Charbonnet here. The wide receivers, man, have dried up. Man, now thinking back, it could have been fun to take Tootin and then get Lawrence as a backup plan. Fingers crossed that plan A comes through. Otherwise, it might have been nice to grab Tootin there, have a little bit of reassurance, kind of a second reason to go with Lawrence over Love if it came down to it. Wow, Stroud going 122. What does Big B have? Big B has Kirk with Stroud. I don't know about that. And Herbert goes like, I don't get it. Good Jordan Love there. Like I said, if I would have taken Tootin instead of Charbonnet, I might have gotten Lawrence with that pick. Totally cool with Jordan Love there. I don't know what's going on. Taking Dak and Herbert with the Najee stat, I don't know. I feel like I got a little bit sniped on that one. But we got Jordan Love with none other than Jordan Love and Marcus Golden.
Ocean Weisner's already in the backfield. Play action. You're setting up
What the hell? 2.5 my speed exotic Spanish Kelly. What the hell?
Golden makes the catch despite getting hit. As the
Von
ball
Rohr lässt
line
dich
by
verschwinden.
Terrell.
Kann Zaubertricks wie Harry. Was zum Fick? Sie sagen Männer ohne Geld geben ihr ein I. Was zum Fick? Bitch, ich weiß überhaupt nicht mal, wer du bist. Was zum Fick? Ich hab Keks, aber mein Rucksack viel Gewicht. Was zum Fick? Ey!
We're going for one. We're going for one. Coach Sark in the clip. Shout out to BINDLES for sending that one over. Gets a copyright strike every time, but we'll work on the audio. Until then, Yo, what up, Who Hames? Hope you caught that clip. Ooh, what the helly? Love it. Matthew Golden. Can't get enough. Okay, let me do a quick refresh. We got 10 seconds to pick. Do I want Goddard or do I need to go receiver? I want Goddard. It's all running backs, and I'm pretty good in that department. Damn. It is all running backs. What's going on? What did I miss in the last 4 picks? Nothing really. I mean, Tucker Kraft would have been my favorite pick there, but I'm honestly equally happy to get Dallas Goedert. So with Travis Kelce and Dallas Goedert, you got to think you're done with those two. Maybe tack on an 18th round tight end. Pretty solid with those two. Goddard does miss games every season, so a little bit of a, might be better off going 3. We'll save one for last. I would have liked Tucker Kraft there. The running backs, though, that are still available. Jaden Blue still there. Rashad White, J.K. Dobbins, Austin Eckler. How early are you guys taking Dobbins? Is pick 149 too early for Dobbins? I don't think so. Could consider it. Dobbs never comes back around. I think I do want Dobbs on this team. He never makes it to 164 in my drafts. So I'm going to risk it for Dobbs. I need a receiver anyways. I'm telling you, I see Dobbs go around pick 150 more than I see him go at ADP. I don't know what's going on. And I draft a lot of Jordan Love. I try to get Dobbs to come back around in the 14th round. Never does for me. So I'll pull him up a little bit. Just, for the stack. I think it's worth it. It can pay off. The running backs that are available, pretty ambiguous. A lot of RB2s. Kind of all in the same tier. I've got enough running back power. I needed the wide receiver. So it made sense. On this build, it's a 20-second schnauzer. Yeah, Dirty P. I also hate multi-tabling if I don't have to. And not that I really hate it. It can be fun if it's a certain type of tournament that is time-boxed and you're just trying to get in some volume. Which kind of the German Shepherd was, but I think back 2 years ago, I remember doing the golden on stream. Not the golden, the poodle on stream 3 at a time and being on the clock. It was still 30-second pick clocks back then, but on the clock in 3 drafts at the same time on stream, trying to make the right choices. I take Dak Prescott. Oh shit, this was not the CeeDee Lamb team. That kind of stuff happens, but it can be fun. Yeah, max the first schnauzer, then 48 hour in the first 48 hours. Interesting. How long do you think this schnauzer 2 will be open? Because I don't think it'll be open super long. Within 2 weeks? 2 weeks to fill? Those Germans. J.K. Dobbins does go. That's what I was looking for. I'm probably going to be done with 2 QBs at this rate for now. Let me get Alec Pierce. I'm still not out on him. Even with the QB change from Daniel Jones to Daniel Jones from Anthony Richardson, I'll sprinkle in some Alec Pierce. Fun. It gives me a week 17 mini with Travis Hunter. And I think Pierce is very talented. He's big, fast receiver. It always feels kind of weird when we're drafting 4 Colts receivers and we like the ADP value of like literally all 4 of them. So it's I don't know. Pierce would have paid off very nicely for you last season. Can he repeat? Not sure, but I'll take a little swing on him in the 14th round. Give me some receiver depth. I might be going 2 tight end and 2 QB at this rate. So, I just saw Stafford go. He would have been another nice pick. Running back wise, I kind of like Jalen Wright here. I don't mind Jalen Noel. People seem to be a little bit out on him, actually. I'm probably gonna go right. QBs that remain. I don't know what I can do with Rodgers. I could backstack with Calvin Austin, who's getting a nice little buzz. Freiermuth had already gone, and I've already got 2 tight ends I feel good about. I do have the Quinshon Judkins, bring back, so that was a potential, but Daniel Jones could be nice, could be fun. Super late. If he's still there, take him. Alec Pierce stack. Travis Hunter bring back. There's something there. Last round, Jackson Dart. I haven't been seeing him go in the last round. He usually goes before that, but I've got Scattaboo and Slayton is generally a free pick late in drafts. I don't think I need 3 QBs, but I wouldn't hate it if I set myself up, with the option to go there. Dobbs in the 130s? Yeah, I thought so. I've been seeing him in the 140s, 150s. So to see him go here at 160 is kind of nice. Maybe should have pulled the trigger at 149 and risked the Dobbs, but I wanted the double stack. And obviously Wicks is free later, but I feel just a little bit better about Dobbs right now. 130. I only multi-table WNBA, and it works. Hartman, the notorious WNBA savant. Michael Wilson, a little bit of an ADP value. He's got a defined role in the offense. I was considering Diami Brown there. Potentially to go Brown. Should I have taken Daniel Jones there? I don't think so. I want to really try to consider playing a 2 QB build and only take the 3rd QB if it just falls into my lap. So 2-5-7-2 build with 2 picks left to go. Yeah, Hartman, notorious WNBA rainmaker. He's directly influencing the ADPs. How we doing tonight, boys? What's going on? Are you drafting these schnauzers? Back on the clock. I'll do it. I also might do this, kind of lock up the Browns backfield real cheap. Kind of seems fun. So I'm going to sprinkle in some Dylan Sampson. I've already got Quinshon Judkins. Oh, no. Why would you take both rookies on the Browns? Well, it's the year of the, two-headed rushing attack. Most teams are deploying 2 running backs. The Browns might be doing it with Sampson and Judkins this year. The price tag on Sampson is so cheap. So I'm locking up what I think is most, if not all, of the Browns kind of backfield touches. Of course, you could argue that Jerome Ford gets some of those. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they're phasing him out. I think they're pretty excited about Sampson, and they definitely are excited about Judkins. Question just becomes, is this really a 2772 build? I haven't done one of those in a while. I'm not crazy about any of the tight ends that are still remaining. I could roll with Kelsey and Goddard, feel pretty good. Do I go with an 8th receiver is the real question. Or obviously, I mean, if Daniel Jones is there, I probably just do it. So we'll see. I don't have a way to get to Shuck. And I don't want Anthony Richardson, and I don't really want Russell Wilson. Might not be the worst thing to have Russell Wilson, though. I would have had to take in, instead of Dylan Sampson, I would have needed to go, assuming Slayton was still there, and he wasn't. Slayton went to vape before I took Michael Wilson, so kind of interesting there on that one. I mean, Wicks is always there, but what does that tell you about Wicks? He's always available in the last round. So that's why I kind of pulled up Dobbs just a little bit. The relationship with Dobbs and the Packers coaching staff seems to be on the mend. Is this the rare Savion Williams draft? Probably not. I think I'm cool to go Daniel Jones here. Let me just check my 7 receivers. I do have 3 on bye in week 8, but I just checked the settings, and there's no money in week 8. So I'm cool with risking it there. I didn't particularly have any running backs on bye in week 8 or tight ends. So I'm a little bit more confident I'll still be able to fill out my flex. Start 3 running backs in week 8. Only need 3 receivers to hit. I've still got Ladd there. Let's jump into this Schnauzer. Whoop. Schnauzer 2. Let's do a quick team review on this one. 3-6-7-2. And then we're going to be jumping right back in to another Schnauzer 2, 20-second pit clock. Appreciate y'all being here. Make sure you hit the like. Go ahead and subscribe. Why not? Turn on the notification bell so you know when I'm going live. Either that or follow me on Twitter at FFB Garage. I go live on Twitter, but then it just kind of gives you a little heads up that, hey, you can jump on in here into the YouTube. Come get in the chat. Say what up. Draft with us. If you got any fantasy-related questions, this is a great place to get those answered. A lot of sharp guys in this chat. I've already seen a few of them tonight. Great guys to get some fantasy strategy questions answered by. I will say that. It's not just me. I'm here to learn too. Every day we're getting better. We're drafting teams. All best ball summer long. Come on in. Let's take a look at this team and catch up with the chat. The German Shepherd, it was a whirlwind. It closed really fast. Yeah. Ha! Yeah, Huhaim's been on it. Make sure you're subscribed to Huhaim's. Make sure you're checking out his content. He's tremendous. Always a good time when Huhaim's comes on the channel. And I'm gonna be teaming up on his channel very soon. So make sure you're subscribed. Roofy says Alec has value in my opinion just from spike, upside, 75-yard touchdown perspective late in the draft. That's kind of what I've been thinking. I mean, so I've been in on Alec Pierce since his rookie season. I had was it his rookie season or was it his sophomore year that I was really in on him? Let me look back because he's going into year 4, right? Going into year 4. I mean, I remember drafting him in 2022 and 2023. 2023 particularly, and it didn't pay off in the best way. I had 20% Alec Pierce in 2023. I had slightly less in 2024, so I just was would have been better off if I kept that up. So I mean, he's productive in college. He's always been a bomber, big, fast, catches balls downfield, has one of the best target depths and yards per catch in the entire league. So I'm interested in it. I am trying to figure out the Daniel Jones impact of the situation for fantasy, but I'm still in. I think he's still cheap. But like I said, we're drafting 4 Colts wide receivers. Can they all pay off? I don't know. And they've also got, they've got the new tight end, Tyler Warren, into the equation now. So how does that factor in with targets? The dude was prolific in college at Penn State, racking up targets, touches, snaps. So got to figure out some more about the Colts situation and what we think from a projection standpoint, like what's actually possible there. Do we need to kind of cool it on Alec Pierce just a little bit? We'll find out. Yeah, sometimes that happens. All right. So Jordy P. 3 quick points for Dobbins. 1, he was healthy last year with the Chargers, looked good, was explosive. How can we prove that? Well, and this is not the end all be all, but I like player profiler. I like advanced metrics. Dobbins last year didn't do much in the receiving game. Okay, we'll admit that. Was not very good. 32 receptions. Only 13 games. Okay, but 153 yards, not the most impressive. His rushing, though, 4.6 yards per carry. Holy shit, this guy coming off the knee injuries, all that kind of stuff, the Achilles, whatever it is. Rushing EPX is benchmarked at 100 being league average for players who have a certain number of touches. Like it says here, scaled so that 100 is league average. He was 115. He's number 7 in the entire league among running backs in 2024 for explosive play rating. That's 10-yard plus rushing plays from Dobbins. So overall, he was the 7th most explosive running back. It's so 27. He's 16th in total explosive plays because that factors in that he's only playing 13 games. So crank that up. That's 2 explosive games per game. Dobbins got juice. He's still got a lot going on. His game logs looked pretty good last year too. But of course, he's on the Chargers, right? Chargers are a nice rushing offense, a lot of upside there in their scheme. Well, he's on the Broncos now. The number 1 rushing offensive line in 2024, the Broncos, who were underwhelmed by Javonte Williams, Audric Estime, Jaleel McLaughlin. We're never going to see those guys again. They're gone. Off to Dallas, off to the bench. See ya. It's RJ Harvey time. It's J.K. Dobbins time. I've been bullish on J.K. Dobbins in the last 3-4 months after missing out on him last year. I want him this year. I'm back in. He's the Broncos as a landing spot, probably one of the best. I don't see why not. Point number 3, he's 26 and a half. He's got plenty of run left. The injuries happened early enough in his career. He's bounced back. I think he proved it. So that's what I'll say. I'm in on Dobbins. I've been drafting him a ton. I've got 20% across all tournaments, and I haven't drafted him once since he signed with Denver. So that's all before the Denver signing. I'm happy he signed there. I'm going to keep drafting him. I'm trying to figure out where that spot is. You guys are telling me 130. I've been seeing 150, 160. I'm happy to take him around 140. Maybe 130 makes sense too. If you really think about it, what's the difference between Charbonnet and J.K. Dobbins? Charbonnet goes 115. What's the big difference? Don't trust Green Bay wide receivers. They have too many mouths to feed. Yeah, that can be true. That can be true until they consolidate the targets around some of the receivers. So I think they're definitely a run first team. We've seen it, with Josh Jacobs last season getting it done. I'm hopeful that Golden can be their true alpha number 1, be the target hog, the leader, the alpha, right, in that offense. And then Dobbs is playing a ton of snaps for them. So that's another thing. And I might have to check my notes, but I'm pretty sure Golden and Dobbs are the 2 starters in the 2 wide sets, which is their base package. So they're going to be running the ball a lot. In 2 wides, it's Golden and Dobbs. When they use 3 receivers, that's when they bring in a Jaden Reed or a Wicks. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's what I've been told. Yes. Last night, we did talk about the Terminator. Arnold. I almost brought up the Arnold Schwarzenegger. What do you call it? The soundboard. Do you remember from the early 2000s? We had those Arnold soundboards on the early internet, and you could prank phone call people with the Arnold soundboard. I almost brought it up last night, completely forgot, didn't do it. Could do it now. I'd have to find it. But man, really good quotes from those movies in general. Tons of memorable moments and scenes. If you haven't seen The Terminator 1984, you got to. It's a masterpiece. And then even better, Terminator 2 Judgment Day 1991. Probably top 3 action movie, sci-fi, thriller action movie for me all time. It's hard for me to put it. Maybe number 2. I like The Matrix. I like Matrix is number 1 for me. Big Keanu Reeves fan. Lawrence Fishburne, The Matrix, all about it. But I do need to get some more Terminator. Besides the fact that I could just throw on the ballsy overlay. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Let me get a little Arnold there. Who's this? Oh, that's Terry McLaurin. Cortland Sutton. What are they doing here? What was I going to show? Oh, yeah. This old thing. Boom. Well, that doesn't help. The Matrix. Probably my favorite sci-fi action movie of all time. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you're subscribed. Come on in. You could choose both pills in this scenario. And yeah, no, there's some homework to do. If you haven't seen The Terminator, obviously highly recommend it. So good. Oh, just incredible movie. Put on this one. Okay. But yeah, it's a good point. I mean, there's some truth to that. They're a high scoring offense, though. Yo, copy paste dates. What up, brother? Oh, Albatross. Yes, yes. So I sadly, I only have 2 Albatross remaining in 2025. I did much better last year, but we're still in this, and I've got 2 scrambles in the scramble finals. So we've got some teams going. Let's look. So, of course, at Oakmont, starting tomorrow, it's the U.S. Open. It's the semifinals for the Albatross, the majors only, season long, best ball tournament on Underdog. Let's check out Copy Paste Date's team. He's got Scheffler, love it. Of course, he's the favorite. Hovland, I'm in. He's already won on tour this season. He's a gunner. He's good. Hatton, yes, I'm a fan of Hatton. I've been drafting a ton of Hatton every year. I think he's good. Hadn't been his best showing this year, but I like him. Tom Kim, not having a great year, I'll be honest. Finau, can he win the major? I don't know. I don't know if he can really pull it through. Harman, yeah, Harman's won majors. He's won the Open before, not the U.S. Open, but the Open, and he's already won on tour. Harman's very good. Fitzpatrick, yes, I think he's a strong play. He's also won U.S. Opens in his career. Siwoo Kim, not a guy I was drafting a ton of, but always a good pick. You know, he can contend. We'll see. Glover, I like a lot. You know, his major win was at the U.S. Open back in 2007. So he's kind of one of those veterans that sticks around. I'm a fan of Glover. Drafted a ton of Lucas Glover, and then Harris English, who's also won on tour earlier this year. I think it was Torrey Pines, wasn't it? So he can. I'm in. This is a good team. You got Scheffler. You got Hope. I like it. Nothing crazy there. You know, Siwoo Kim was not guaranteed to be in these tournaments, in these majors. So that's kind of a ballsy pick there. I like it. English, a fun one. Glover, good. Otherwise, you know, not saying it's chalk, but definitely guys who are highly drafted. But I like this team. I think you got a chance. Good luck in your Albatross. Let me know how it goes. Be following this all weekend. Yeah, tells your Savion is the man. What up, JT? Appreciate you, my man. And have a great stream if you've already started. I think you've got Cody on tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? That'd be fun. I'll have to check in on that later. Make sure you guys check out JT Best Ball. Slap a like on his channel. Make sure you're subscribed. Restrepo, yeah. I don't know. If I had Cam Ward, sometimes. More than none with Cam Ward, but oh God, Mecole Hardman, pass. Good evening, Reflect the Sun. Do I ever handcuff a QB situation where there is a question who starts? Yeah, likely not worth it. I'd rather, just because I'm drafting on volume, I'd rather draft like I'm right. So draft Jackson Dart and not Russell Wilson. If, you know, in that situation, we already know that Dart's going to start at some point. It's just how soon does he start? Maybe a better example would be the Anthony Richardson versus the Daniel Jones. Draft like you're right. I took Daniel Jones in this one. So what I'm saying is Daniel Jones is going to start from week 1. He's never given the job back. Anthony Richardson rides the bench all season long. That's how I want this universe, this outcome to play out. And somewhere else in my portfolio, I could definitely have, you know, an Anthony Richardson team or two. And I don't think I want Daniel Jones on those teams because you only have so many, you know, you have limited spots on your team, limited draft capital. I'm trying to think if there was ever a time it made sense to take 2 QBs. I don't know. I've seen it before. Maybe in Superflex it could make a lot more sense. But an 18 round single quarterback, probably not for me. I don't think I've done that. Yeah, Warren and Downs are the indie picks if I go that route. I would agree. I'm big in on Downs. I've moved him up my ranks recently, and I don't mind Warren either. I like Warren. I think he's very talented. Pierce just needs Jones to win that QB job. You think so? I mean, Pierce did pretty good with Anthony Richardson last season, so I'm curious to know. AI says Daniel Jones throws tight ends a lot more. That's a good point. That's interesting. Yeah. I like Dobbins. Hartman's one step ahead of the rest of us. Very sharp. Not surprised. Yeah, I was not in on Dobbins last year, so I'm glad to be in on him this year. You know, better late than never. Najee and Dobbins. That's an interesting point. Dobbins is more explosive than Najee. So look at this. 13 games, 27 explosive plays, 7th running back in the league in EPX. But Najee has more touches. Najee has more career snaps, attempts. Najee's never missed a game in his career. So he's kind of the man. But he had 31 explosive plays in 17 games. So he averages less than 2 explosive plays per game. He was 16th, although he's a better receiver. Najee is a better receiving back than Dobbins, it seems, but not as efficient as a rusher, averaging 4.0 yards per carry. And then this is PPR scoring, but it's still like a data point. About 12 fantasy points per game for Najee. Dobbins was all the way at like 14.8. So what's the difference between Najee and Dobbins? Dobbins might be better. Interesting, though. I mean, they're both in new situations, new teams. Kind of a weird thing, but now Najee is in Dobbins' role that he had last year. Or is that going to be Omari and Hampton and not, I'm not sure. But, ooh, very nice. Very nice. What up? I am the KY. Sharbs seems closer to full work. Dobbins is sharing with like 3 or 4 folk if you count Vele. I wouldn't count Vele. Sharbs closer to full work. It's definitely a two-headed monster in Seattle with new coach Mike McDaniel and the new offensive coordinator. They've got Kubiak. They're going to run the ball a lot. They're going to focus on the defense. All things equal, a healthy Ken Walker is the lead back for Seattle. Sharbs has standalone value. Also is a contingent play. I kind of view Dobbins in a similar way where RJ Harvey is the lead back. They just drafted the guy. They're obsessed with him. They love him. They're excited to get him. The Broncos were. But Dobbins will be effective and he will get some touches and get some snaps. They benched Estime. They didn't use him. He was inactive in a playoff game, famously. McLaughlin maybe has some role as a pass catching back, but I think Harvey can cover that too. But maybe McLaughlin still has a small role, but not intimidated. I think Dobbins has got a pretty strong case. And then I don't count Vele. There's a storm coming. I'd be back. Yes. Hit the soundboard. Hit the Schwarzenegger soundboard. In fact, I do have something I can hit. I've got the ballsy music that we mixed up. I'll make sure I set it to the right volume. Hopefully it's not too loud, but here it comes.
Because I'm ballsy. I don't take no shit from anyone. Because I'm a stud. I'm ballsy.
Ballsy. That's a famous interview that Schwarzenegger did back in like the early 2000s or some time ago. Talking about cigar smoking. Not taking shit from anyone. Ballsy, a stud. You watched both? Holy shit, you got right to it. I need to watch both. It's on my to-do list for this weekend, for sure. I mean, it's been a while since I've watched them, but yeah. Did you like them? I mean, I know the answer is yes, but like incredible, right? Even the special effects are respectable. In 2, they've aged a little bit worse. I think in 1, the special effects are kind of timeless. Early 80s. Hollywood. Nod to the original. Implausible plotline, sparse dialogue, intermittent violence, solid D-tier soundtrack. Made me nostalgic for my first porno, Cherry Busters, it was called. TMI. But yeah, that's a fair review. Ooh, Fantasy Dog with 31% Dobbins. Love to see it. The U.S. Open is the toughest golf tournament. Support the USGA. It is. It is. Oakmont is a challenge. It's going to be a tough one. Don't mind cuffing Tua with Zach. Blah. I almost just threw up. Used to Fantasy Dog. Ooh, we used to play in the U.S. Open qualifiers on my home course. Needed a 2.4 handicap and $3,000 to enter. Yeah, I would be out, but that's very cool. Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch him at Oakmont this weekend. A lot of good storylines. Can Phil Mickelson complete his career Grand Slam? I would bet not, but there's a lot of good storylines. Appreciate you being here, of course. Yes, the Fantasy Dog. K Walker hurt. I did hear some whispers about that, right? Let's what did we hear today? What did we hear today about Ken Walker? Let me see. Kenneth Walker, top latest news on Twitter. And yeah, the ankle injury. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I did hear about this. It's June 11th. We got time. We got 3 months. July, August, September. We got 3 months. We'll be all right. We'll make it through. I'm going to keep drafting Ken Walker. Yeah. Louder. Oh, yeah. That clip, the volume was low. My bad, but we'll get back to it. Hey. And still welcome on if you want to hop on. But I totally get it. Totally get it if it's not the right time. And we'll do it again soon. We'll do it again whenever you can, my man. But the invite's still there. Same as ankles last year, still an issue. Who Hames? Stop bringing in facts, knowledge, information, and fudding Ken Walker. Did I just draft? No, I didn't even draft him in this draft. Okay. You're taking all the fun out of it, Who Hames. But also, this is good to know. Yo, what up, Al Bug? What's up, good people? Let's review this team and jump right back into a 20-second schnauzer. Give 30 seconds. We're entering it. 30-second review. a 3.672. My first Schnauzer 2. Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, Daniel Jones. Wow, 3 quarterbacks with an elite QB. What are you doing? Well, practically free Daniel Jones. Had to do it. Saquon Barkley, stacking a running back with a QB. Who does that? Quinshawn Judkins, Cam Skataboo. I already rolled the clip. Zach Charbonnet. Hey, Ken Walker's injured. Maybe this is a good pick. Jalen Wright, Dylan Sampson, taking 2 running backs from the same backfield. That's crazy. That'll never work. Lad McConkey, I got sniped on Herbert. I would have taken Herbert over Love, honestly, but didn't work out. Devontae Adams, very bullish on him. Hunter for the bring back with my Daniel Jones. Golden, Dobbs to double stack with Love. I also couldn't make Kraft work. Wasn't meant to be. Alec Pierce, a bring back for that mini. Not a bring back. He's stacked with Daniel Jones. Michael Wilson seems like a fine pick, a good value. Travis Kelce, who I don't take a lot of, and then Dallas Goedert stacked up. Let's get into a 20-second Schnauzer. What do you guys say? I'm going to enter it now. Go ahead and jump in. I'm right there with you. 20-second Schnauzer. Let's go. And these things fill quick. We're waiting on 3, 2, 1. They fill quick. I don't know what to say. My second Schnauzer. Let's get into it. The Schnauzer 2. Yeah, I like Ken Walker a lot, but I'm also protecting the D-Mart Hive. Man, take me back to the big board, a name I haven't even considered clicking in a while. Damian Martinez, but I was right there with you. Remember, we were talking about him. We were talking about him together on the big board drafts. Just not the best landing spot, or is it? We'll see. A serious rocker. Oh, Steve jumps in here, takes the 102, pushes me back to the 108. Not a worry. I'm so used to being in the back half of the draft board. Let's go. How we doing tonight, fellas? Green Bean in the 6. Steve in the 2. I'm at the 8. Who else we got? Say what up. Let me know if you're in here drafting with us. I might have to reach out to Underdog support on Discord for the complaint. A couple screenshots. Let's throw on some background music. Get the vibes up. Get it popping. Just a little bit. Yeah, right. Wasn't it cool? No. 108. Good distance. Yes, it is. And I feel like I haven't got Puka in quite a while. Happy to get Puka Nacua there. Let me throw a little refresh on. Okay. Puka from the 8 spot. This is going to be nice. Okay, interesting. I got a lot of Camaro with him. Some Wicks, some Kraft. Funny how that comes together. Some Jordan Mason looks like some other Schnauzers and some puppies. Some T-Mac, some Daniels. Some Stafford, of course, makes sense. I guess it would also make sense if I took some Penix Jr., but I don't see him on here. Oh, you know what I want to check? Do I have him with London? And I do have one in a different Schnauzer with London. Can we get that lucky again? You know, probably not, but Bowers, just one in a Best Ball Mania. Interesting. Fantasy Dog in the overflow. Good luck. If Walker didn't have injury risk, I think we'd be drafting him closer to Chase Brown. Could be. I mean, the offense is not nearly as good, but I understand the sentiment on his talent. Kinbone do miss time, but what if he didn't? Yeah, London goes. No AJ Brown? That's pretty interesting. I definitely want that combo. I mean, I've got a ton of AJ Brown. How did I not have Puka with AJ Brown? Oh, I was filtered to tight end. That might explain why. Yep. Well, I still like it. I was going to say, I've got him in 2 best ball manias in another Schnauzer, but it doesn't hurt to get one more Schnauzer with a Puka AJ Brown start. I like it. Could have been London. You know, just a fun Week 17 game. I keep saying it. I said it last night. I say it all the time. Imagine. And this is a Schnauzer 2. It's a 22nd Schnauzer 2. But imagine we're in the Best Ball Mania Finals. And it's Monday Night Football in Atlanta. The Falcons versus the Rams. And I've got a Puka Drake London stack. Feeling good. I'm buying a flight to Atlanta. I'm going to that game. So that could be a combo you need. You definitely want it in your portfolio in any tournament. But, you know, you don't have to force it. You can also get lucky and get London in the back half. Or sorry, London in the first half, anywhere in the first half of the second round. And then, of course, you can get Devontae Adams or even a Kyron Williams in the back half of the third. So there's a lot of good ways to play that Falcons-Rams game. The more I think about it, it's like the Falcons-Rams game on Monday Night Football. Whew, I like the Lions-Vikings game. Puka with Algier. Yeah, oh, definitely. I'm very in on Algier. I have him aggressively ranked, so I'm definitely going to be looking for him later on. That's a good call. Josh Allen at the pick 26. You don't see that every day. Steve getting different with his Saquon, Josh Jacobs start. But, you know, Saquon and Josh Allen makes sense. So he's playing into Week 17 a little bit there. Chase Brown, how do I pass up on that? I would have to go JSN. I don't think I will. I'm cool with going Chase Brown. I'm still in on Chase Brown. Let's do it. I mean, I just saw JSN go pick 36 in the last Schnauzer. 0% chance he falls there again, right? What's going on? What's the news? I was also curious, who broke the news on Jordan Mason? Who ranked Jordan Mason 10 spots ahead of ADP? I've been drafting him that way all summer. I'm starting to see more people taking Jordan Mason. He's rising quickly. So who did it? Let me know in the chat if you know who's responsible for the Jordan Mason hype over the last 48 hours. Scary Terry Higgins. Yeah, that's true. I think you'd have a good shot at... It's hard. It might be hard to get Daniels at 47 though. But what up, Lutz? How we doing, brother? Appreciate you being here. Have you been drafting any Schnauzer 2s? That's what we're ripping tonight. It's 22nd Schnauzer 2s, the second one of the stream right here. Hope you're doing good, my man. I hate passing up on Jaden Daniels. I don't know if this is the right team for him. I don't take a lot of James Cook. I might just do it to get different. You can see my exposure on him is very low. I get the AJ Brown playoff game. I don't have a ton of them. He did see a lot of red zone touches last year. Does Ray Davis get more of those? There's always the fear that, hey, Josh Allen's going to vulture the touchdowns. But last year he didn't. It was James Cook. So, whoops. What did I just do? Oh, well, that's fun. That's the board. Let's go back here. I wanted to pull up James Cook. Not a player I draft very often. You know, pretty efficient rushing the ball. The 16 touchdowns. And then 2 through the air. Wow. Hard to repeat that? Question mark. Let's also take a look at James Cook's profile. James Cook, his profile, pretty, out of Georgia. A little bit on the smaller side. But in today's modern NFL, not unusual for this kind of running back to get a good amount of work. He can't get all the work. So Ray Davis comes in and takes him. It's kind of what I expected. He's kind of just about average in everything he does. He's not the most explosive player. He's very touchdown dependent, but he is getting touches on a high-powered offense that scores a bunch of points. So have I drafted a bunch of James Cook? No. Do I have him ranked at the end of round 4 or beginning of round 5? Yes. I'll still take him every once in a while. This felt like the right time to do it. 2 receivers, 2 running backs. I did pass on Jaden Daniels. I don't always do that. I like that start, though. Justin Jefferson, Devon, Achane, Terry McLaurin, Jaden Daniels, Devonta Smith. It's a pretty fun way to start. Okay, there's fear on Ken Walker. There's doubt on Joe Mixon. I'm going to see if any of those guys will fall and come back to me. I'm going to take Zay Flowers. I'm cool with Zay Flowers here. I thought about taking Cam Ward just because, not Cam Ward, Calvin Ridley, just because I might be able to get Cam Ward later as another stacking partner. Of course, Lamar's already gone. But Zay Flowers at 56, sign me up. Year 3 breakout incoming. I mean, I think he's just a good receiver. Good big play potential. Need to see more touchdowns, but he got a lot of touchdowns in college, so I don't think it's out of his wheelhouse. Just last year, it was Bateman, it was Likely, it was Matt Andrews, and then, of course, King Henry. And, Lamar, too. But I think Zay could up his touchdown numbers a little bit. Even if he doesn't, he can still up his targets a little bit. So I think there's room to grow. I don't think we've seen the best career output of Zay Flowers. I think he's ascending. Hopefully. So Mixon and Walker do both go. Yes, Hu Hames is on my same wavelength. I think that's very smart. I wonder, Curtis. I wonder. He could. Joe Mixon has never given up a lot of touches to anyone. He hogs touches. He usually plays about, 60, 65% of snaps historically in his offenses, whether it's the Texans or the Bengals. So there's a little bit of room to go around. I don't think that that Nick Chubb signing with the Texans hurts Mixon too much, honestly. Maybe the touchdowns a little bit. It's definitely a more competent running back duo than what they had last year with Ogunbowale and Dameon Pierce filling in. Cam Akers came in too. Am I crazy? Didn't Cam Akers play some snaps for the Texans? Am I crazy? Wasn't that last year? I mean, yeah. He came in for the Texans too, just a little bit. So there's still some available snap share to go around for Chubb without hurting Mixon too much. But I think you're not far off, thinking ahead about, do we start to see Mixon fall a little bit more? Maybe. People are definitely pulling. I've seen Kamara go ahead of Mixon and Ken Walker in the last 2 drafts in a row. Take a lot of Mason. That's sharp. I'm right there with you. I made a prediction back in April that I thought Mason might flip Aaron Jones. I don't know if that's going to definitely happen. I think it could happen. I think if we hear any injury news on Aaron Jones, a hamstring, a groin, anything at all, before the season starts, it definitely could happen. But I'm very bullish on Jordan Mason. He's definitely a better rusher at this point in his career than Aaron Jones is. Aaron Jones is a competent pass catching back, though, too, in his own right. So, do I just take Mooney because I really want him and it fits my team, what I need right now? Or do I see if I can push? Dang, Green Bean takes Mooney, so 2 Patriots on this one. I'll take Diggs. I take some Diggs. Henderson and Diggs on the same team, though. I've done it before. Haven't done it in a while. This should be a Drake May team. It should be. Either Drake May. Yeah, that's my best option right now. I was in on Mason in the big board over Jones. Ooh, spicy. Very spicy. Let me move over this overlay because the one and the only Anthony from Best Ball On Call. Whoop. Boom. How we doing, Anthony?
Did I still get you to do it again? Even without asking to get in the circle of trust? Still got the happy up there? I like what you
Yes. Got to do it. We're on the clock. I like Josh Downs. I'm cool with Amika. Any lean here?
Definitely Downs or Buka there, just because with the Ayuk news that he might start on the pup. I mean, what did your team look like? I didn't even see. I jumped up out of bed and turned on the camera.
Hell yeah, brother. Appreciate you being here. Good to have you on. And
what's happening, Steve? I see you in the chat over there.
Yeah. This team so far, it's a 3-5 build with Chase Brown, James Cook, who I don't always take. It's pretty rare that I go James Cook, but I did it on this one. I just grabbed Henderson, and then it's Puka Nacua, AJ Brown start, Zay Flowers, and then we just took Diggs and Downs. So feeling good. I feel pretty good about those 5 receivers. Those are some studs. And the running back's not a bad start either. It's time to, think ahead about stacking partners. May is the obvious choice. But not a bad start.
Yeah, I like where your receiver room's solid there. What pick did you get? What was your last one at?
So this last one was 89, and I love Downs at 89. I think what you said about Ayuk is very sharp because I just need to move him down in my ranks a little bit. For every game he misses, you got to discount him. If he misses 4 games, if he starts slow, you got to discount him a little bit. Even though this is, the money's in week 17. So in this format, particularly, it's not the end of the world. But, if Josh Downs plays 4 more games than Brandon Ayuk, Josh Downs every time, right?
Yeah, it just worries me with what the Colts offense will transpire to be at the tail end of the season. Whereas I feel like the 49ers could be trending in a good direction at the end of the season. The Colts might be going in the opposite direction. But Downs has been a pretty good volume hog in the time he's been in the league, so I don't hate that pick at all.
Makes a ton of sense. Maybe we get like a year 3 breakout from Downs too. This coming up, this pick here, we'll see what happens. I think Fields could fit nicely on this team because I've already got the Henderson and the Diggs, and then I don't really have many other stacking partners for my current receivers, considering, I could obviously get Stafford late, May, and then Daniel Jones, but you're in on Fields?
Fields would be my pick there for sure, just because of where you're at quarterback already.
Right. No chance to get Lamar or Hurts. So yes, Stafford is somewhat cheaper later. Tight end wise, I'm curious to see what happens there. Johnny was still there. Mark Andrews was still there. Some people take Ingram kind of randomly. Maybe Andrews comes back around. It would be kind of fun to have Flowers and Andrews just for the team stack.
Yeah,
But
I like Andrews at that value for sure if he makes it back.
yeah, and I don't know that he will because I'm kind of in the middle of the board. I'm not really as close to the corner as I typically am used to. At least with my current luck. But pick 113 could be just the right spot to go May anyways. It's a little early, but it's not, too early.
Do you want both quarterbacks from the Week 17 game?
Yeah, I don't worry too much about that.
I don't either, but some people do.
Yeah, it's a good point because I've definitely thought about it before and in the past, but I almost feel like with going Diggs, that kind of locked me in to a certain path.
I agree.
Maybe, there's a lot of QBs that are still there, so there's a chance we could push it. I don't know if it's worth it though, and there's not really any other picks here that I'm obsessed with.
No, and I'm in the same range there. You might just want to smash May there.
I think so. I think we grab May here.
Then, yeah.
And then what that does is we either can get, we honestly could stop with 2 QBs, but if this was like a 3 QB build, Stafford, we can try to push him later. And then, of course, like a Daniel Jones. I got Daniel Jones in round 18 in the last draft. So, stranger things have happened. We can continue to push those late options.
Yeah, we can see if we end up at 2, we end up at 2, but most likely you probably want to tack on a third somewhere late there and see what you can correlate with it.
Yep. Huheim says that Tootin's been falling in his rooms lately. What's your vibe on the Jaguars backfield?
Get a piece is kind of where I'm at right now because just like Huheim said, Tootin's fallen and he had been above Did ETN flip him yet? I knew they were getting close. I haven't seen it lately, but how do you? I don't understand how you take him out of the 3 out of that backfield right now. Just given with the uncertainty, nobody knows anything. I'm just trying to get one of them every draft. If I have something that correlates with that, No, I'm not just going to take one of them randomly.
Yes, ETN typically is going first. It's close. The ADP for Tootin right now is about 120. And I think ETN's is about it's a few picks before that. So
I knew it had to be getting close. I knew they were closing in on each other.
Definitely. I've been mostly playing it through Tootin. I was playing it through ETN pre-NFL draft. But that's before I knew Tootin would be there, of course. And I just wasn't even on to Tootin until we started to hear a lot more about him. He started rising, and then when he landed with the Jaguars, it's the floodgates were wide open, right?
Right, and then you get all the hype around the draft and everything, and then after the draft, it's still just a mess of a backfield where you don't know exactly what's going on until you get some more, train. And the worst thing for Tootin is the very first news that you get about him is what he puts the ball on the ground. So you're like, okay, great.
Yeah. That not the most favorable impression to your current employer to fumble on the first snap kind of thing.
But we did this with Jamar Chase with the stripes on the ball. So I mean, the stuff like that you can't really you can't worry about too much. Like let it pan out a little bit. It's June 11th.
Yeah, let it breathe a little bit. Come on, guys. It's hot out there. It's summertime. I'm feeling Warren here.
Yeah, I like Warren there just because of the volume he should get.
I'm pretty sure that Williams was gone. Yeah, Kyle Williams went to Steve.
Yeah.
And then, not to force the the Patriots picks. I've already gotten Diggs and Travion. That's probably plenty. Even Hunter Henry might be nice to add on. Not required is kind of how I feel when I've gotten those pieces.
Yeah, because how much volume do you really think the Patriots offense is going to be? That's my thought with it. Like you're trying to find a good piece. It might be consolidated, but you don't know where yet. But I don't see a Mike Vrabel offense being just a lighted up offense. I think it'll be a lot better than last year, and they have a favorable schedule. But I don't see them being, the Lions from last year, or the Commanders from last year, or something where they're going to put up 35 points a game.
Yeah, I would be surprised if the Patriots kind of turned into what the Commanders were doing. I think I'm not sure. I probably need to do a little bit more research on like what the real kind of number of plays, passing plays, rushing plays should be from that offense. But kind of the general consensus is pretty high on May. Okay, so this pick, we could either take a wide receiver or a running back. I'll go ahead and focus on those. Do you ever take Blue in this range, or is it a little bit too early?
Probably a little bit early, but with where we're at, how many wide receivers we got? 5. I'd probably still like a wide receiver there, but yeah, I like Betch. If you're gonna do that, yep, don't hate it.
I think I'm cool with Besh there. It is kind of right. It thins out after.
Right, you're really at the where you feel comfortable about clicking any of them, unless you're trying to. Even Betch is kind of a reach there, but I mean, wide receiver 6, I don't hate it.
Yeah, and I haven't seen him. We got him at 137. Feels about right. I remember when.
I'll agree with that. Because you're a little bit past ADP, they're about half around.
Yeah, not too bad. Although I think that's probably where he should be going. When Best Ball Mania opened, I did 4 drafts on day 1. I took Jack Besh in all 4 of them without thinking about it. I didn't even realize until after I looked back and I was like, wait a second. I took Jack Besh in all 4 of these. One of them was on my phone. 3 of them were on stream that night. And I took him between picks 132, 133, 135, I think was the latest I got him. So he's been kind of stuck to that corner. I don't know if it's because of like he's tethered to the Bowers pick, generally that kind of range, or even Bowers has been falling to the middle of the second round, or what's going on. But people think he's just kind of well priced. Have you been drafting Besh? Are you what's your?
I'm probably at like 6%, but the thing with that is we don't know still with Jacoby Myers and what was the other one? Dante Thornton. I said they've been getting him some looks too. So where's he? Like, okay, you got Bowers, you've got probably Jacoby Myers, and you've got Ashton Genty.
Yep.
You're pretty far down in the pecking order, but
That's a good point.
He did look pretty good in the Senior Bowl and whatnot, and that's one of those things where the Vegas offense, a lot of room for anybody that wants to step in outside of Bowers.
Oh yeah. I'd have to fact check, but off the top of my head, I think Jack Besh had more receptions in 2024 or touches, like receptions and rushing attempts, than Dante Thornton had in his entire collegiate career. But I have to fact check that. But that's just kind of like I think it's close at least. Should we grab Dobbins? Happens. People have been saying Dobbins is going high, and we kind of need a 4th running back anyways.
Yeah, I don't hate that, especially with where we're at and with him just signing. I mean, you're a little bit up, but he's probably still going to rise some. I don't know how much he rises and what percent of their backfield, between him and RJ Harvey, it's going to be.
Yeah.
But every time when he's that cheap every year, he seems like a good value to fill the roster as long as he's playing.
No doubt. I did a price check with the chat during the last draft. I saw Dobbins in the last draft went at pick, let's just say it was about the same, 150 range. And the chat seemed to think the 130 range was more appropriate based on what they'd been drafting. So we get him here at 152. That seems fair. Of course, the ADP is still in the 170s, but it's going to be shooting up.
Risers never rise fast enough, right?
Yeah.
Especially if he's right in there that with the same range. I mean, you've got Algier, Rashad White. That's all just contingent handcuff running back range. Brandon Allen, Trey Benson.
Yes, is very true. I think he has more than a contingent value. I think he has some standalone value too.
Right, especially with him and RJ Harvey are both getting kind of they're pulling towards each other is what they're doing.
We did miss out on Stafford, not the end of the world. We do have Puka though. Would you consider going Geno Smith with the Besh, or is that you want to just keep pushing and take another running back?
You can take Geno there. We're at 4 that are okay. We could put on another one late. That's totally your call. I don't hate you if you're taking Eckler there. Then we're probably done at 5. I'm guessing.
Probably could be. I think we could be. I think last second I realized, you know what? The Besh connection to Geno Smith, it's fine, but why would we force that?
I don't think you need to force it. Nope, I agree.
Yeah, if he's still there later, I think it's more worth it. And then also, you know, Daniel Jones has been going pretty late, and we have Warren and Downs, so we've invested more in both of those pieces in the Jack Besh. So I kind of like last second thought, well, I was just I felt like a little bit of FOMO because we missed out on Stafford, and a Stafford Nakua pairing is kind of nice, but maybe not necessary considering we've got the rushing upside of Fields in May that can compensate for not having the stacking partner with our first overall pick wide receiver.
Yeah, and you could have either of them. I mean, I don't know how much in week 17 you feel like that'd be a thing, but on any given week with, if you think New England's going to be better and obviously Fields doing what he's doing, they could both outscore Stafford, even if Puka has a nuke week.
Yes.
Because Puka could just get all the points and no one else in the Rams offense does. Stafford scores, 32 points and Fields could go for 35 or something. Even May, if they week 17 be sketchy against the Jets, I don't feel like it'd be hard for them to go for that much, but it's not a non-zero chance.
Check this. I think that's a great point. What you said there. For Jordan Mason, I'm at 21%. Hallelujah. And
it's a nice
trying
chunk
to keep
of
it
Mason.
there.
I wonder what I'm at.
This pick, it's coming up. It's going to be 176 and then 185. It's a good range to get a tight end. I'm curious who's there. Hunter Henry's just there magically. I'm not forcing it, but I think it's a pretty savvy pick here. There's not any other picks that I'm obsessed with.
You have both of the tight ends there that you could stack. Either one of them is legit in that range. Jarquez Hunter too. I saw you highlight him. I don't hate that pick there, especially with the Rams bet you have.
Yeah, I think if he comes back around, I'm very tempted. I've got 20% Jarquez. I'm in on him too. I think he's a fun upside pick. Receiver,
Jarquez Hunter, you feel like he's a different back than Kyron Williams, whereas Corum's the 1v1 replacement.
That's kind of what I've been thinking. Until I hear differently, I'm just kind of taking in from people who know better and then trying to use that information. I don't particularly know, but it seems like Kyron, the Thunder, Jarquez, the Lightning, and then Corum might just be a direct backup to Kyron, but to be determined. They didn't use Corum a lot last year. That was interesting. Kyron got a ton of work, right?
Right, and I mean, explosive-wise, what does Jarquez, bring to the table that the other two don't? That's kind of what you're thinking about. If they're drafting him, it's for a reason, especially after taking Corum when they did last year.
I mean, it would be a 6 running back, but I'm not super opposed to it. Should we go tight end instead to get a field stacking partner and then be done at tight end?
I think you're all right at tight end right now, even though I hate passing on Mason Taylor there. Just shore up your running back, because after that, I don't think you have anything that you're really much interested in.
Yeah.
As far as running backs.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all the same. It's all just different bets on.
I mean, not that Jarquez Hunter's a whole lot different, but you're in that game. And if he doesn't make it back, then that feels kind of bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm cool because now we're definitely good with this running back room. It's deep and it's strong. And it's a lot of different offenses that are very good. We've got the Rams, the Commanders, the Broncos, the Bills, and the Bengals. I don't know if I've ever built a running back room with that many high-profile offenses all in one. So that feels pretty cool. Like you said, we don't have to force a third tight end or a third QB. And so I like our top 5 receivers. Tack on one more that makes sense, and then have some luxury picks. We got 2 more picks to go, and so I think that's kind of what we're gonna do is take a tight end. So Daniel Jones went, so we don't have to worry about the third QB. I think we do just stop at those 2. I don't see a way to get to Shuck or Dart particularly.
No, I don't either. That's exactly what I was thinking of. I think you're better off stopping at 2 and just covering what you can at tight end and probably another wide receiver, I would think, are what I would do there. Obviously, I mean, if Mason Taylor makes it back, I'm taking him, even though it's, definitely that. If not, I like where your head's at with Juwan Johnson. I'm trying to think as far as other wide receivers. Tutu as well, just because it's a little bit heavier than the Rams offense. But, I mean, who are they really Who's scoring points in the Rams offense outside of Tutu and Devontae and Puka in the wide receiver room? Yeah, we got Whittington stuff, but
Right.
it's been more hype about him than anything else. It's just been another wide receiver that steps up and takes the points anyway, or a tight end when Higbee was healthy.
Definitely. So Mason Taylor is there. Incredible. I think we hit that.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
And now we just have a complete, choice between any of the last wide receivers. I do a quick look at our buys. No issues. We can take any receiver we want, any team. We've really built out around the Jets and the Patriots already. So then I'm thinking back to our other early picks, right? Is there a Cardinals piece we want? I don't know. Could we get another Bengals piece maybe? Is there an Eagles piece we want? I don't think so. Could we take another Bill? And then is there a Falcons piece? I don't think so. Could we take another Ram or another Eagle?
And Michael Wilson's gone, I would imagine. So he would be the only Ram in there, or the only Cardinal in there for the bring back in the Rams game.
Right.
That's probably the only, other than that, what you have starred there is kind of where I would be thinking for the most part. What was the thing? I did say something on Kevontae Turpin earlier where they might be using him out of the backfield as well. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I know some people that are very bullish on Turpin. I know Who Ames has been in on him, and Cody has been very in on Turpin for the longest time.
That was just a random thought while I was looking through the wide receiver tab over there.
Yeah. Do you think Lazard is worth drafting and could ever pay off?
I don't think he's going to the Steelers, is what it sounds like. Paying off, that's another thing, but it sounds like he's going to stay in New York, which there's no target earners really there, so that's a thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I could have. It's a coin, just kind of like a whatever. And this last one, I wouldn't head ahead and let it roll with Tutu, considering now I've gotten 3 Rams, and I just feel like let's just take some pieces of a fun Week 17 game and a good team.
Totally agree. I don't hate how this turned out, especially since I jumped in halfway through and didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, and then rapid fire, 20-second clock, right. So not a lot of time for takes.
Yeah, I don't hate how that team. I don't necessarily like only having 2 QBs from the same Week 17 game, but with where you were at, it's kind of how you had to build it.
It does limit the upside a little bit. It does because it's, one game outcome for Week 17.
That and the game elements and what it looks like. I mean, if you think Jets and Patriots in your head, what do you think immediately? What does the environment of that game look like?
Historically, it would have been a defensive battle, right?
Right, like 10-7. Like is what you're thinking that game is.
I hope this is a new generation of Jets and Patriots for this draft's sake. Let me run through these chat messages, catch up with the boys, and then we'll review this team and get into another one. Let's see. The Penix Stafford and Friends game. Very excited about that one. Who Hames is going to be heavy on Mixon, so he's not worried about Chubb. He's already kind of committing, is what it looks like. Yes, I think they must really like Garendo. I've talked with some San Fran fans, and they were not happy to let Jordan Mason go. So it's a little bit of a head scratcher. They didn't let him go for that much either. Yes, very impressive Mason exposure. Love to see it. This is a Jordan Mason safe space. So if you've got heavy bags of Jordan Mason, come here. We talk about it. We it's an echo chamber of Jordan Mason support in here is what I'm saying. Very nice. Yeah. And then Anthony getting the sup fam, the what's going on.
Good to see all my fellow chatters showing the support.
Of course. Yes, that's a good point too. Would just be happy to be there.
Yeah, fair enough.
Also, I kind of think of this as like, yes, 2 QBs in the same game, but also 2 QBs that I think and I hope can have a very high weekly ceiling. I don't know that I've seen it. I'd have to look through Drake. I need to do a little bit more research on Drake May. Are we pricing him in as if he's already taken this big step forward, or did we really see enough last year? I just need to go back and reconfirm. I know he didn't play every game, so it's a smaller sample size. Justin Fields, I do feel confident. We've seen him put out incredible fantasy games with his rushing upside. So that one, I feel like at least, maybe it's only we only have one real game in week 17 with our QBs, but we still have Justin Fields, and at any week he could just break the slate.
Right. And with both of those quarterbacks, you feel like they have the capability. 16.7% Mason. I was just checking that for the record.
Oh, yours is very nice.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at. With both of those quarterbacks, you're making a bet on Fields historically doing what he's doing and just, being the quarterback that can run and score 40 points any given week. And you're kind of making a bet on Drake May taking his next step, as well as the Patriots having the second most favorable schedule in the league behind the 49ers this year. So the offense ascending as a whole, taking Travion Henderson, Drake May with it. That's kind of my thoughts on how you're planning on this working out.
Yeah, that little schedule tidbit. I haven't done a whole lot of deep schedule research, but I like to listen for those kind of nuggets and learn something new.
I believe there was a Hayden Winks chart I saw that showed the
left to right.
Right. And San Fran was all the way at the top, and then New England was just a little bit below that, and then it kind of flattened off after that. But it was those two that pretty much stood out. So I was like, oh, okay, something to keep in mind.
The champ himself.
What's happening?
The hockey trophy hoister, Pat from the Pound. How we doing, brother?
Scoring the game-winning goal.
Oh, man, this guy can do it all. Hope you're having a good night. Caught a little bit of your stream earlier with Steph. Always good to see her on. Always a fun guest. Very sharp drafter. We all know. We all appreciate. And yeah, man. Hope you're having a good one.
What sort of grade did she get? What sort of grade did Steph give you, Pat?
Great question from Anthony. Pat, what grade did you get? Most importantly, did she go easy on you? Is she in a good mood? Was she a tough grader?
Steph's she's pretty accurate. I feel
very honest. I will say that. Doesn't sugarcoat it.
Accurate.
Not afraid to hurt your feelings. Respect. Nope. Yes, and then Pat is going to be in the Jeopardy tourney. Ferguson, for the tight end piece. Yeah, I think I do sometimes consider he went drafted. He did get drafted in this one. Terrence Ferguson. Who was it? Billy Jones was on. He's a big Ferguson bull. So there's definitely a little fan group for Ferguson as well. I sprinkle him in, but I think Higbee still has a role. We saw what Higbee did in that playoff game with 12 catches or 12 targets. It was a lot.
Yeah, I wonder with the Rams if Higbee or if what's his name? Terrence Ferguson's going to make an ascension too. We've seen it from Higbee. That's why I'm always worried with the rookies. I got burned on this a lot last year. We've seen Higbee in that offense, and we've seen him have a big role. We haven't seen anything from Ferguson yet, even though he looks good. It's a good offense, but we've seen it from Higbee, and we haven't seen it from Ferguson. You can get burned on that, but I feel like it's something where you have one in the bank that you can take already. I'm not fading the 3 QB med. I'm actually kind of leaning into it. Even when I have an elite, if I can sneak another one in that stacks, I'm all about that, given the research that's came out and stuff. Only if it makes sense on the third one with an elite, and I'll usually try and push it and get it past ADP.
100% agree. I'm the same way. I looked at my data for my best ball manias last year. Last year I was 60-40 in favor of the 2 QB. This year, I've flipped. I'm probably 60-65 3 QB at this point.
I'd say I'm probably about 60-40 3 QB. It's probably pretty close.
I think naturally where the QBs are going this year and the lack of other options in that range, it just makes so much sense to tack on those extra QBs. And I definitely do it when it makes sense if I've set up the right stacks and it just kind of comes together.
Yeah, and I feel like there's definite pockets for all the quarterbacks. Like you have your 5 elites up top, then everybody else kind of falls into that next, the purple pocket in the middle, and then you get your late stacks all the way at the end past that. So you kind of know where you're at quarterback wise by about round 9 every draft.
Yes. Yeah. And like 9 to 12, those rounds. You come out of that with 2 QBs, you're feeling good. You tack on a third at some point, makes sense.
And I think the late, pretty much everybody's hip to this at this point, but the late quarterbacks are obviously for the Seattle and Carolina game because you can get Darnold and Bryce. And
Yeah.
if you don't think Darnold's making it through the season, you can still get Milrow. And they give you interesting late stack options too with like Elijah Arroyo and other pieces, at the end where if you're going to push tight end, you can even put that on at the end for the third tight end piece with Milrow. I did that earlier in the draft, just tack those 2 on at the end for a week 17 upside play because Carolina's defense is probably going to be pretty dog crap again.
I like that. The Panthers, very easy to backstack. Bryce Young goes pretty late, but a lot of those pieces go even later. And same thing for the Seahawks. Although there's some, there's a couple pieces that go early for the Seahawks. There's a lot of pieces that go late that sometimes go undrafted, but you can kind of sprinkle in there. I think that's a sharp game to go after. Jason, the world famous Huron River Rat, wants to know another draft, and we say yes. We're about to get back into another Schnauzer. I think on this one, and Anthony, I'll let you make the definitive choice, but feeling a 30-second Schnauzer 2, give us a little bit more time to take picks, or you want to rip another 20?
I'm cool with whatever you want to do. But if Green Bay wants a 30, we can do a 30.
I'm slightly feeling 30 just so we can make sure we hear some more of the Anthony takes, some more best ball on call, and not, rush through our clicks, and then also interact with the chat and everyone. So I think that'll make the most sense. But yeah, Jason, come on in. 30-second Schnauzer starting in 1 minute. We'll race through these comments, and then we'll review this team very, very quickly. Yeah, I think we're caught up. A lot of good stuff. Appreciate all the bros for being here. Yes, Green Bean. Let's do a 30. I'm into. If you're watching this, guys, make sure you hit the like. I'm about to close the poll as we enter the next tournament too. I want to see what you guys responded to. Check out the poll. Make sure you're subscribed to Best Ball On Call. You already are. I know you are, but it's in the description. Anthony's channel. And
I'll try and get on here more and draft more too. I've been, obviously, if I passed out in the chair tonight when I was supposed to jump up on the stream, that tells you the amount of energy I've got currently.
It's an open invite. We're vibing. You know how it goes here. It's casual. We're just here having fun. It's all about the fun. We're just here to draft some teams, talk ball, have a good time, learn something new every night. So I'm excited to have you here, man. Glad you could make it. This team.
I appreciate you having me.
Oh, of course. This team, Justin Fields and Drake May, 2 QBs, risky move in 2025. Some might say Chase Brown, James Cook, Travion. That's a 1-2-3 punch. I like it. The Dobbins, the Eckler, the Jarquez. Like I said earlier, just take a look at the teams these running backs play for. Outside of the Patriots, all playoff teams, very strong.
All score points.
Gonna score some points. The wide receivers, first 4 look pretty good when they're not partying on a boat. But the 5th, Josh Downs, he's been rising. I like him. Jack Besh, upside rookie swing. Tutu Atwell, heard some good things McVay's been saying about him. Maybe he gets used more than ever. It's about time. So
and if AJ Brown, if he regresses back to the mean at all after Saquon's season last year, I mean, he's going to damn near double his production.
That's what I thought. He missed some games too with the injury. That's what I thought. The counter argument I got was, well, look what happened. Saquon comes on, they throw the ball less. AJ Brown puts out less fantasy output than he
How many passing attempts did Jalen Hurts have last year compared to his historical?
Let's look.
That's a great. Have that.
Let's look into that, and then we're going to enter this draft very soon. So get ready. I'll make sure I let you guys know, and I'll give you some heads up for the 30-second Schnauzer 2. Yeah, man, 361.
Right. That seems awfully low.
awfully low, and he could have played more games. He could have played 2 more
But
games.
even still, if you're getting 40 pass attempts in those 2 games.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty damn low. So maybe somebody's onto something. I think AJ Brown's the kind of guy that can get it done with efficiency, not just volume. So I'm not super worried. I want to bet on talent. I like AJ Brown. I think the Eagles can still score a lot of points. Maybe
I agree. And if the talents is what it is, and there's any sort of volume increase, then you're going to get way bigger numbers from where you got. Just increase that by, say, 100 pass attempts. If you're efficient at all, then with that efficiency, you're making a lot of numbers, especially at pick 17. Because he was, what, a 1-2 turn pick last year?
Oh, yeah. Always, yeah.
So I feel like that's good value.
I think it makes sense. And then the tight end room, very healthy. 3 mid to late picks, 2 of them stacked up. So we did get a double stack with the Patriots.
Kind of surprised both the tight ends came back.
Me too. I mean, we got a good value on those guys. I haven't seen Mason Taylor go that late in quite a while.
Not since
we actually
pre-draft.
have a triple stack with the Patriots, including Henderson, who can catch some passes, and then a nice little tight end piece for Fields. All right, guys, let's jump into it. If you're hearing me talk about this now, I'm entering the 30-second Schnauzer 2 in about 5 seconds. So go ahead and jump in now, and I'm going to join it here. I'm clicking it. I'm getting in. If you've been waiting, get in here. Let's do it. Perfect timing, waiting on 6.
Plenty of friends and family.
Yeah, hope you're able to get in. I love doing these Schnauzers because it's a big tournament, but it's a smaller entry fee. And so you don't feel like you're edging each other out. Yes, it's a 20 max, so you don't want to like burn all your bullets, but you're not edging out everyone in your draft room because of the 2 out of 12 advance. If you don't advance one of your Schnauzers, so be it kind of feeling. It's a $3 fun ticket.
Yeah, you're with these, and that's the same thing. Like I'm not as big of a super flex guy, but when they're the price point of $3 and $5, everyone will jump in. Whereas you can sit around like with those single entries, like what was it, the Greyhound 35? If people aren't doing that, if they're not like actively doing it, you might wait in that lobby for a minute, unless you post something, unless you post something with
I will spit out my water.
I saw you caught that comment. I was trying to keep it going over here. Unless you, I forgot totally what I was saying. You caught me off guard there. It totally messed up my train of thought.
Boom. Like and subscribe. Can't see it, but the Happy Gilmore background. Man, you've got quite the background there. Tell me a little bit about what you got going on in the studio.
Okay, so what I did there, pretty much all these like in the background, like up there and over there, and these ones over here. Those were just puzzles that I did during football season last year. They're all the one up there is the 80s and the 90s, and then the other ones are just sayings. The other stuff down here, like those are all my Tigers. Those are Tariq Skubal bobbleheads, my Notre Dame flag from the game, the Joe Montana jersey. I just wanted to throw some stuff up on the wall and give it some good ambience. Once I built the setup, I was like, okay, I can't be staring at a gray wall, and I can't let everyone else be staring at a gray wall. So let's throw some cool shit up there. I got
very nice. So a Notre Dame guy.
Yeah, it's kind of what I live in Michigan, and everybody around here was a Michigan fan growing up. And I said, I don't know if I can be like everyone else. And I went to a Catholic school and stuff as a kid, so I kind of got funneled into that. But Notre Dame's been pretty awful my entire life, like ever since like their last
the great Joe Montana.
Well, yeah, and that was 79, and I was born in 81, so that was literally not even in my life.
But just the momentum.
Yeah, I definitely carried it with me. It really what it was, honestly, the reason I put the Montana jersey up, I won this. Remember, like when all the stuff was going on with the jersey raffles and stuff, where you could put like $20 in and they'd raffle one off. I won that one for $20. So I put that up there. Yeah, that's why I was like, okay. And the best part was the whole reason that I wanted to put it up there was after watching Pat's stream, and he has I think it's the Tom Brady helmet in his stream. I was like, what better leverage on Tom Brady than a Joe Montana jersey? Best way I could do it.
You're not hearing any argument from me. Probably a lot cooler with Michigan gear. Just saying, yeah. And I always know. So we got this 5 spot
CD for me.
Me too. Let's take CD. Big fan. I mean, CD was the 101 last year, right? Practically 101, 102.
And that's kind of something I was thinking about in these drafts this year. If I get down to a point where I'm a coin flip between two guys, I don't hate looking at last year's ADP and saying, okay, where's this guy going last year compared to now? How does that team situation look? And if it hasn't gotten worse, why am I not making a bet on the same guy? Like the same argument we just made for AJ Brown. If the Eagles are going to be good, yeah, you have to worry about Saquon stealing, 400 touches and going nuke again. But if they don't, then he's a really good pick where he is.
That makes total sense to me. I was going to say right before we made our pick, I did catch on that, at least I thought I knew that you were a Michigander. You've got the Detroit Tigers that you rep, and you've got some of the flags too, right? So you're still located there. You're from there. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm definitely still in the Metro Detroit region. I pretty much split the Detroit and the Ohio border, so I'm more
Very
south
cool.
of the city than north.
Nice.
But yeah, definitely I'll always have my Tigers fandom doesn't go far. The Lions I kind of bailed on when Barry did. A lot of people in this area that are my friends are not happy with me about it, but once I make a decision, I kind of stand on business. So
There you
that's
go.
where I was at. Imagine all the Lions fans that are my friends and that live locally to me last year after the Lions lost in the first round of the playoffs. And I didn't say a word. And they're just looking at me. I'm like, come on, guys, we did this 20 years ago. What's going on? Like the Lions, because it's a lot of my friends and stuff, they just almost feel like that one team that's just never going to get over the hump. I hate to say it, but God, does that feel like it?
Yeah,
Look at the 49ers game in the NFC Championship game the year before, and then look at the Commanders game last year. That both like you felt like, oh man, they're really going to do it, and then just a rug pull.
that probably encapsulates the feeling of what it's like to be a Lions fan. If I had to, think about it for a minute, that's probably just kind of how it goes.
I mean, and they've really been just bad. They're like my whole life. They were good in the 90s and then just started to get good again recently. And they had a couple playoff, but they were one and done in the playoffs in what, like 16, 17, something like that.
They couldn't capitalize on the era with Stafford and Calvin Johnson either. That was kind of a missed opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. And you see what Stafford's done with every receiver he's had his entire career. Achane there for me, most likely.
I think so.
I think that's just the pick there.
We're just a ton of targets to go around with these two picks.
And I like the game that gets you in for week 17 there as well. You're in two good games there.
I do like both of those games. So it's in DC, Cowboys in DC could be a fun one, and then in Miami with the Bucks visiting. Sometimes, I have a pick. I have an idea. I didn't think Bucky would fall to us, but there's a pick at 29. I'm going to throw it out there. What would you say about bringing up Mike Evans into this one? Is it too much? Should we wait? I
don't hate it there with who's there, because I don't like Marv especially much. Garrett Wilson, kind of, you feel like you're tied into Justin Fields, not necessarily, but you're steering in that direction. I don't hate Evans there. I did see there was a report that said something about him where they're talking like this year might be the cliff finally, even though we haven't seen it for the last how many years. I've still been leaning into Mike Evans anywhere in the third round if I feel, especially when he correlates. I definitely like. I mean, how many times have we got to see it from the guy?
Just to get a little different. I mean, it's a 20-match schnauzer. A lot of these teams are going to have variations with CeeDee Lamb and some of these other early third-round receivers. I don't know how many is going to have Achane as well, but then Achane with pulling up Mike Evans to me feels fun.
I wonder if anyone else, other people probably thinking that now that the week 17 games are available, but especially with Adams being gone there. After that, I think all the wide receivers that go before the elite quarterbacks are kind of a pretty similar tier.
That's good. I mean, I love me some Adams. I'm also kind of thinking like just mega brain a little bit, but Mike Evans, let's say he doesn't fall off the cliff. He's still as good as ever. He's a future Hall of Famer. He can keep pace on a season-long output on a weeks 1 to 14 range of scoring with guys like McLaurin, Marvin Harrison, JSN, even Garrett Wilson. But then in week 17, we just need one game for him to play against the Dolphins and that be a game you want to be a part of. And so that alone could be kind of what tilts us over to the edge to draft him there ahead of those other guys.
Right. And you also have, you get your other late options that fall to, like, because we don't know what Ibuka is going to be yet. So you also have him later. And then depending on where it falls back in the 5th, you could also think about Waddle there, because I feel like he's a really good pick in the 5th, especially given with what we don't know about Tyreek Hill currently.
Yeah.
I just feel like in the 5th, Waddle is such a good pick right now.
I'm open to it. Wow, I haven't seen Garrett Wilson go at 34 that often, so that's kind of different. And
That's
then
a little bit of a fall.
Taking a quick look, I didn't realize that Dan Marino was in this room. So Dan Marino, Joe Montana, we got a lot of greats, QBs kind of in the atmosphere. Of course, Green Bean in the 4, Fantasy Dog in the 3.
I've seen Rashee Rice get pulled up into the 2nd round a lot lately. It didn't even matter what tournament.
I have noticed that. We got Jason in the 10.
Where'd he go? So he went with the Genty and Bowers right away. So Jason looks like he's probably into a Fields and Geno build, something like that. As of this
Genty
range.
Bowers, very interesting, of course. And then, but Garrett Wilson at 34 is a nice falling value there.
Value. Yep, I agree with that. I had one time where I had JSN fall all the way back to the 3-4 turn and just paired him up with Tet at 3-4. I only had that happen once. He doesn't seem to fall all the way there.
Yeah.
But
do you remember when Rice was going at the end of the 3rd?
Yep, end of the 3rd, and he crawled all the way back up through the 3rd and all the way into the 2nd. Just little by little, because people pulling him up in the 2nd, that makes the ADP rise quicker.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to be we got pick 44, then pick 53.
A little bit of a fall on Tet there, huh? You also have Jaden Daniels for the week 17. I don't hate there.
Mm-hmm.
Any of what you were just clicking is exactly where I was thinking. Kittle, I would probably try to push to the 5th, even though it'll probably get taken before it comes back. But I'm cool with any of those the order you were highlighting them, any of that, whatever you have a lean there, you could get. I like. Okay, Tet.
Now that McMillan was gone, I'm slightly thinking Pickens.
You can do that. Just know that you're steering yourself into only that build. I sometimes take Jaden Daniels there too, just because you already have the 17 bring back with Lamb.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jaden, you're not really worried about where you stack him.
I'll do Jaden Daniels. I like Jaden Daniels a lot. I've got a bunch of them.
Especially on a fall.
Yeah, a slight fall. Hard to pass up. I used to say, especially during the big board, I would never let Jaden Daniels fall past ADP. So I ended up with like 12 or 14% of them. And then I've dialed that back just a little bit because it seems pretty easy to get QBs in the QB pocket round, 9 to 12. But hey, he could just be the guy you need. And although QB points are replaceable, we've seen a rushing floor from him, and then his ceiling in the passing game, it could take a step forward. It could regress a little bit in year 2, but from a weekly scoring standpoint, I think he's going to compete with the top scorers that you might be able to see from like a Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson potentially too. So,
right, and I like taking him there, especially once Devontae Smith is gone, because if he falls to like where we took Jaden Daniels at 44, if Smith's still there, I'll take him sometimes and try and push Hurts back into the 5th, because I feel like Hurts in the 5th is a great value as much as Daniels is in the 4th. Same kind of thing, except for you can just stack him there if no one wants to take him naked in the next 8 picks.
Totally. Greenbean was saying, well, Lamb just got a second legit receiver to compete with now. We'll make this pick, and then I want to get your opinion on that, whether it's eating into targets, more of a complimentary, or
are they? I'd take either one that you have highlighted there, just because of where we're at. It is a little bit of a target competition, but it also might make the offense better as a whole to have, because CD runs so much out of the slot and Pickens runs, downfield his go ball things. So it actually might open them both up in their respective routes more and make the offense better as a whole, if any of the running backs are viable, which is what they didn't do last year. So I'm hoping that maybe, even though what's his name didn't have a terrible year last year, but it was just like, why did you not address the running back situation the whole year.
Yeah, I think they will be passing it a lot. Dak healthy, being a high quality passing quarterback. I went ahead and
Yeah.
grabbed Pickens there. I think they have different roles and enough targets to go around. So I almost took Kittle, but I just didn't want to be too far behind a receiver. And then I think it's fun
Right.
to double stack the Cowboys.
I've done this exact thing a couple times where you take Daniels in the 4th with CD and push Pickens all the way around, and then usually he'll, because his ADP's at 52, so he only has to fall a pick. And then if that game's a shootout, then you've already got, some of the best pieces in it because you don't even know what the Cowboys running back situation is yet. If you wanted to tack that on later, you still could.
Yeah, we can still tack on Dak. We can try to push him. It's a lot of people won't take Dak completely unstacked, and we've got both of the top pieces.
Right. So you don't have to, the only thing you got to worry about is a back stack with Ferguson pretty much. And people usually, I've noticed when that happens, it'll be on the end of the board. So as long as you're like paying attention to where it's going on, you should be able to get your stack here. And we're doing the same thing again with the week 17 game, but I feel better about that game than I did the last one.
True. I remember last year people would take Dak in Ferguson, like snap picks 1-2 at a turn. I think Dak has kind of moved higher up in the board, and Ferguson's fallen further back where it doesn't happen like 1-2 pick.
I think
anymore.
the only time it happens like that is when somebody's really boxed out at quarterback and they're like, all right, give me Dak and whatever piece I can stack him with right here. That's when
I do see it with Jordan Love occasionally, where you can go, I don't have anyone stacked with Love, but I'm gonna go Love and then craft 1-2.
I was doing that since the little board.
Yeah.
Whenever like the Green Bay wide receivers would be gone and I would get boxed out at quarterback, I was like, oh, Kraft's right there. And he was like, with the way the Green Bay offense is, the things are so spread out up until this year. We don't know what Golden's going to be, but Kraft was as much like a wide receiver as any of their wide receivers. So it's like he gets pretty good volume in that offense. I don't think we didn't think they were going to run as much as they did last year, but I think they kind of got forced into that once Jordan Love got hurt. Because remember, he got hurt in the Philly game, like real early in the season. Where was that, at Mexico or something?
Oh,
remember it was like week 2 or 3 or something. I felt like it was real early, and the field was kind of
week
crappy.
3, right? Or let's find out.
I feel like the field was crappy.
It was week 1.
Oh, so yeah, it was real early then. I was thinking it was later than it was.
Me too.
So yeah, they probably had to lean into the run way earlier than they wanted to once that happened. I mean, we saw how long Malik Willis was actually putting up. Like, if you had him in Superflex, he was putting up usable weeks. Like he could actually crack your lineup. So, but I think if he stays healthy, I would imagine their passing volume increases some.
Okay. Am I crazy to think about going Godwin here? We just stick with Mike Evans, or we have
Godwin a running back or Olave. I don't hate, just because it gives you another thing that you can do.
Yeah, that's true.
You also, as much as I'm not a fan of the Saints offense, he's always, when he's been healthy, Olave's been, a target earner if he's healthy. That's the thing. So there's the game you're playing. Kind of don't want to do Travion Henderson again, but it's a little bit of a value there. Any of the 3 picks there would be my lean. I'll let the captain steer the ship. If you have something you want to do, or you want to balance your exposures, you're lower on Godwin. I see that. That's fine.
Let me get some more Godwin.
Yep.
It feels kind of fun just to have 2 Tampa Bay and 2 Dallas receivers.
And you have A-Chain in that bring back game.
Mm-hmm. And we've got Daniels in the bring back for that game. This is kind of fun.
Yeah, and that's why I like too, with when you stream with someone, I can have like a range of ideas that I want to do and just look at your exposures and be like, oh, well, you're low on Godwin, so you can take him there. Whereas my portfolio could be totally the opposite and could have made me make a totally different pick there.
Definitely.
That's where it gets fun.
Ooh, Darnell Mooney going 69 to Green Bean. You sharp Mooney drafter.
Yep. He likes some Darnell Mooney.
Definitely.
And given the Atlanta offense, he should get, I still feel like he's priced too low, right? Or maybe where Green Bean took him's probably about right.
I know. I think it's It goes with Devontae there, so he's getting the correlation and the Bijan. So to me, I see how it works.
But like by the time it gets back to him, the wide receivers
probably still could have got him, but who knows? Maybe he wants a different pick there that he wouldn't be able to perfectly get.
Maybe just the correlation because you're looking at like what's the 1v1 there with what you're taking versus what's coming back.
Do we need a running back here? Or do we keep pushing it? Do you want to anchor, or do you like Pollard over these two guys, or do you want some upside at wide receiver?
I do kind of like Pollard there because I feel like he's the last of what the running backs that we know has a stable role in their offense, and their offensive line should be better. And what they're going to do, I'm hoping with the rookie quarterback, is run the ball and take some of the ease off, to ease some of the pressure off of them. Yes. I like getting a second running back there.
I think that's a good place to do it. I like what you said about Pollard, the offensive line, rookie quarterback, taking pressure off of him, running the ball. I don't fully believe that Spears is going to take over the backfield. I think it'll still be a 1A, 1B situation with Pollard being the true first option, and then Spears more of a, breather back, getting some touches.
Especially if Pollard's healthy. Because he wasn't last year. I don't think he was fully healthy all the way yet. Because he had tightrope surgery the year before, I believe it was.
With Pollard, we have time before our next pick. This is why I like the 30-second clock too, is because then
you can talk stuff over.
We can talk stuff and Pollard was coming off of that. It was, I guess they don't have it in here explicitly because it was during the offseason.
It's a fibula fracture in the preseason. So it was 2022, but you figure that whole year, because that was in the preseason. So right now he might just be getting back to full strength, and same ankle injury last year. So it's like, that's something you got to,
Yeah. And it was this one, week 14, when he missed the game, that Spears did have some effective production, some nice games, but I saw there, if you look at Pollard's game logs, and he got a lot of touches, a lot of
rushing yards every year.
There were games where he had 28 carries, 24 carries, 22 carries.
In the 20s,
he was getting a lot. 20 carries, 22 a lot. That's a ton.
And you got to figure too, that's carries in last year's Tennessee offense, where Will Levis was probably throwing the ball 40 times a game. So they probably weren't quality. You hope that the quality of the touches are better this year. I hope not on Khalil Mullings, who Hames, especially with Pollard already.
Khalil Mullings, I don't know. I think Pollard's, we'll see. But I think Pollard's.
I mean, Khalil Mullings could be the goal line back there. That's a thing that could happen, and the other guys are just using the pass game more, helping Ward out. It's a possibility, but I feel like with two backs that you've kind of seen be pretty good.
How are you doing, Neil?
Mr. Neil Orfield, good to see you. Neil was streaming earlier, had all the bros on there.
Oh yeah, I was tuning in, catching some of that. I'll have to. I didn't get to see Emo go on. I missed just that part, but I'll have to go back and tune in and check it out. Appreciate you being here. Hope you're having a great night, my man. Hope your stream ended up very nicely and got some good teams too. We're ripping a 30-second Schnauzer. It's the third Schnauzer of the stream and my third of the Schnauzer too. Okay, I'm thinking it might be crazy to go.
I don't think either of those are crazy.
It might be crazy to go like Buka, right? But
don't we already have two? Do you really want?
Do we just go Baker piece? Then?
Baker. Yeah, you already have two. I don't hate, so you don't lose out on it because Ibuka is right there and somebody could double tap that real quick. You know what I'm saying? You already have that game.
We've got the double stack. We've got the bring back. Yep. We've got Mike Evans and Godwin. The bring back with Achane. Let's just get Mayfield. Make this an easy game.
And I think you could just be done at quarterback there.
I think so too. We don't have to force the Dak, but we might be able to push him and then just feel like, oh, it's still the best pick available. But I would almost certainly be done with
that because you're in the game with Achane and both wide receivers. Leave it at that and just pile pieces on at the end. I guess my question for you is, we could probably push tight end pretty late based on the quarterbacks we have.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a good point too. And I think with going the elite QB and then another very expensive QB with Baker Mayfield, we're going to have to make up some draft capital somewhere. It's probably going to be sacrificing tight end so we don't miss out completely on running back and wide receiver.
I don't hate Scatabo there, but I also feel like we could use another wide receiver.
I kind
The
of do
only
too.
Yeah, Trey Harris was my lean. When you were moving him up there, that was my thought. I kind of sit back and watch when you're doing, and if it's what I'm thinking, then I'll just agree with it. For me, there's Scatabo or Trey Harris, with my lean being Trey Harris.
I mean, I'm obviously very in on Scattaboo. Totally think he's one of my favorite picks. 14% exposure. Harris on this one though makes me feel a little bit better having those 5 receivers since we're so concentrated on Dallas and Tampa Bay. Just one other option that is not necessarily a part of those gives us a little bit of a
Yeah, and you
another.
have the options from Tampa Bay that you know what they've been already. You know, Ibuka, like, what if he's not a part of that offense until next year, or one or the other gets traded, you know, or injured or whatever it is. That because when they made that pick, the way I think everyone was skeptical of it, was that must be more of a play for the future than it is for 2025.
Fantasy Dog want us to go Baker and Egbuka, which would have been just insanity. But I'm pretty comfortable with Egbuka. I think there was times last season where Evans was out, Godwin was out. Of course, Godwin was out for the season, and they're starting Sterling Shepard, they're starting Trey Palmer. Obviously, they got Jalen McMillan still there, so they needed some depth.
They saw
at
that
wide receiver, and they needed an eventual replacement for Evans and or Godwin. But Egbuka can play all over the field. He's the consummate professional, going to step right into the NFL and fit right in. He's been doing it at Ohio State at a high level with high level competition on his own team for targets, and I think he's pretty proven.
And Sterling Shepard, like Huham said, he was having good weeks in DFS when the other wide receivers were injured. So why can't Egbuka step into that same role if something like that happens? Is my thought. You're just banking on something happening. That's all it is.
Boom. We've got the studio tour. We did just right before this draft. We were looking into it a little bit, but a lot going on. Some puzzles. The Joe Montana jersey. Got a lot of good stuff back there.
I do what I can to, give you guys some visual cues.
Love
if
it.
you're just staring at the same colors up and down the draft board all day, you probably go mind numb. Doing what I can for the people.
Always. And I mean, would you look at that? I don't want to jinx it. Look at the players that have gone since our last pick.
Yeah.
I don't want to jinx it, but
I know where your head's at. We'll see what wraps back. Just leave that board up.
Dan Marino, come on now.
Dan Marino, I don't know. He's been kind of all over the place with his picks because didn't scroll up to the top. Oh, he did have Laporte. I was wondering. Oh, he did have JMO too. Okay, I thought he just took Goff naked. I was trying to figure out with where he was on the board, who his stacking partner could be for Goff.
When he took Debo, I don't take a lot of Debo, but I would have considered it at 68. Oh, he goes Najee. Okay, Woo triumphs, who I've definitely drafted with before. Looks like he's got some experience. He goes Charbonnet. We're going to be Scatterbros. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm always on. I've been smashing Scatabo at 100. So if he gets anywhere, down here, I'm all about it.
I'm way in. We almost did it with our last pick. We get Scattaboo and Trey Harris. That feels nice. And then I kind of like...
I like Trey Harris as wide receiver 5 there.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too. There's a little bit of a cliff coming up at wide receiver. In my mind, it's not the end of the world, but kind of like we took Besh last time. Kirk is fine. Mims, Brown.
We also have Jaden Daniels where you can tack on pieces late.
Yeah.
If you want, because you already have a good core here through 101 picks of 5 who you would think are pretty good wide receivers. You also have Washington pieces late, like, if you want to put Noah Brown or somebody on there. I don't mind tacking those.
Brown got started off today, which is not the most.
I know. I did see that. And he's one of my favorite late clicks. That's why I was like, I might not be able to do that now. ETN, just based on the uncertainty of that backfield is probably a good piece of a good offense to have. Dak, we could think about with the double stack. I'll let you make that call if he gets there. It is quite a bit past ADP. You're getting a little bit. I mean, you do have all
Rich.
three. Yeah, you're getting a little bit quarterback rich. But if you're pushing tight end there, if you end up at 3 quarterbacks there where you 3-3-5-0, you can still push tight end.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking we push Dak and make someone take him
naked. Yep.
Yep.
I'm cool with that.
Loveland's going to keep falling. Otherwise, I'm big in on Loveland, but he's been falling.
And there was I saw some coach speak today about Cole Kmet might actually be outperforming him year one. It might have been a 32 beat writers post or something I saw where they think Kmet might actually be a bigger part of the offense than we were.
Would you consider Ramondre here, or do you think we go Kirk, or do we take one of the tight ends?
Kirk, don't we have Harris for a bring back in week 17? So I
kind of fun, and I like getting maybe some more depth, another piece of a good offense. You know, why not?
Yep. And we don't know how that wide receiver room will shake out yet.
I do think because we made such concentrated bets on the Cowboys and the Bucks, it does feel nice to get a little bit more wide receiver firepower, early before it's just too late. But now that we have these 6, we're good for a while.
Yeah, I think we can stop at 6 for a minute and worry about our other positions. See if Dak makes it back. I would think someone probably takes him there. That'd be quite a fall, but okay, that was the end of that.
Yeah, the end of that. That did not last long. It was exciting while it lasted.
Let me tell you a good story. The end. That was it. That was the whole story. I mean, but we knew that was going to happen once we pushed him that way. He was already so far past ADP.
Sterling Shepard, a viable DFS play. Who aims get out of here?
He was last year when all the wide receivers.
We like to have fun here. We're not drafting Sterling Shepard.
My spatial is definitely off the charts. You're not wrong there, Fantasy Dog. I did all those puzzles. I think they're 4,000 piece puzzles and a 500. I did those all during through week 4 last year. I just sat down and was watching football. Done. Yeah, the Scatterbo fall. I agree with that, Neil. Usually he's been parked. I've been taking him right around 100. That's why I was surprised he made it all the way back to where he did.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch you there. Which player fell?
Scatterbo. That clip hits so much harder when you got headphones on. So much harder. I wish I could explain it to you.
I knew you knew it was coming. I knew you knew it was coming, but I got you there.
You did get me a little bit. You got me better than I get you with a happy cut. Every time.
This next pick coming up kind of quick. Honestly, Dak, we did have a good shot of getting Dak to come back. It just didn't, it didn't happen this time, but it's not the end of the world.
No,
I still like Njoku there. I don't mind Goddard there. I think Goddard's super talented.
One of those 2 tight ends would be my pick there. I feel like they're both really undervalued where they're at there. Goddard in that offense and Njoku, just because, especially if Flacco's the quarterback, did he just pepper him when he had a chance? So it's my lean would probably I would go Njoku there.
Love it.
Just because I think volume-wise, and with the Philly offense being what it is, you're going to have AJB and Devontae Smith and Saquon getting most of the points. So you're kind of at the 4th option there with Goddard. He'll still get his weeks, but I feel like Njoku he's just going to put up way more volume. Could be wrong, sure.
And unless there's some kind of freak accident, I mean, Njoku does get banged up. All the tight ends get banged up, but Goddard has never played a full season. So when I take Goddard, I do like to make a 3 tight end build, but we're kind of going in that direction. Maybe you don't have to at this point with Njoku. Njoku is, I think, very undervalued. People are just a little bit afraid of what's the QB situation, if I had to guess, of why
Yeah,
he
that's
falls.
100% what it is. I think I saw Shadur was taking second team reps today behind Flacco in the last couple days, so that might be something to, keep an eye on. But if I'm taking Njoku, I'm hoping that Flacco is the quarterback for the majority of the season there because he's probably the one that's going to let Njoku see his ceiling. That's how I see it. The Cleveland offense could be pretty interesting as a whole, but I feel like Njoku is just the most stable piece you can grab. Where are we at? 156.
Eckler's there. I think
Don't hate Eckler. Yeah, just because team correlation. And I don't
yeah.
know if you saw the Hayden Winks chart, like the values of projected points versus ADP. Eckler was one of the better picks on the board.
Or do we
Based on
go?
their
No, we go Eckler. We go Eckler. I don't
Yeah,
even
'cause
like
we've already
Ferguson
got-
that much, and I'd rather play
and
it
we've
through
already got
CeeDee
two
Lamb and
pieces.
Pickens.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think there was a Hayden Winks chart that was showing like where people went in ADP versus their projected points, and there were some that really stood out. Eckler was one of them. Adam Thielen was another one.
Two guys that I'm drafting a good amount of.
See, Huhames knew what it was. Shahid was the other one. I was trying to wing this without pulling it up, and just from what I remembered, and I had 2 out of 3. Huhames.
Gotcha. Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. I know that ETR was talking up Shahid on Market Mondays, so he's should be rising a little bit more, but I haven't seen it fully yet. I mean, in this one, Shahid almost came back to us.
Well, and that's just the FUD on the Saints quarterback situation, I would think, when you see a fall on him. Same thing with Olave. You just
Yeah.
they're both capable guys, but you don't know what Shuck's capable of. Or is it going to be Rattler? I mean, it's not
Olave goes 70 in this one, where I would expect him to go around 63, 62.
Right.
So it's pretty intense, the falls we're getting on those Saints players. But except for Kamara, because now with the Joe Mixon Chubb situation, although it didn't happen in this one, and the Dobbins RJ Harvey situation, I've seen Kamara going more in the 5th round than I ever have before. I've been drafting him in the 5th round, early 6th consistently, but he is definitely rising.
Yeah, and I think it's just one of those things where the teams that you're uncertain about are getting pushed down. So when there's fallers, there inherently has to be risers. So it'll cause people that to jump up. And I think as you get later in the season, as you get more of the training camp news and you see some of these backfields shake out, the running backs, once they have defined roles, are going to get pushed up too. And you might get a huge pocket down here of just contingent handcuff running backs where they all start falling in the same range once the guaranteed starters, with their roles start moving up. It's already starting to kind of shake out that way, like we were talking about last draft, where
I like this. I like this 4 that we got before it got super contingent.
Yep.
And then the strength
Even
is our wide
feels
receiver
somewhat contingent, but a good contingent.
Yeah.
Ertz, if he's there, just because we pushed tight end so far, and we've got Daniels, it's in that game. What's his ADP
on Ertz?
Yeah, 170. Okay,
170. I'm cool with him at 164. Total. I don't think it's too much of a reach. The draft capital goes out the window in this range anyways. And I do just like him. I've got a huge bag of him, which is a little bit scary with his age and how injured tight ends get, but I take him mostly in 3 tight end builds anyways. So
right. And I feel like if you have Daniels and you don't get Ertz, then you just get Sennett later, because there was some good coach speak on him earlier today too. But with what the info you have, I'm taking Ertz right here.
Yeah, let's go Ertz. I don't see anyone else there we like so much more.
And if you want to, you can get Otten later, because you already have Baker.
So far it's a 2-4-6-2 build, and we've got some luxury picks kind of in our future, because I feel pretty good at quarterback. Don't need 3, and our tight end, although we waited a while, honestly,
good tight end value. Yeah,
nice.
Like for taking 2 where we took them, you feel pretty good about those 2, and then whatever you tack on as a third, if you do. And Njoku, I feel, is a really good pick. Yeah, I think I think Huhame's right. He might have been another one, which I feel like ETN is almost the same kind of thing as Rachaad White right now, based on not knowing. Like, we know Bucky in the Bucs backfield, but we don't know the Jags backfield, and ETN's the one that's kind of been there doing it already. So until we have something different, that is the information we have to work on. Yeah, they drafted Tootin, but he's just it's kind of a wish cast right now. As much as I hate
Yeah.
to say it. I got burned on so many of these rookies last year. Like, not a lot of them, but the ones the Marshawn Lloyds, they scarred me a little bit. So I'm like, okay, maybe not all the time.
Do you ever take Dowdle?
I had a thing going in the little board that was a Panthers running back in every draft. So if I didn't take Chuba, I took Dowdle, and it gives you a week 16 bring back with, is it Tampa there? No, maybe not. I was thinking something different.
With Seattle.
Or that's what, that's what it was, Seattle. Yeah, I've definitely, just because I feel like Chuba and Dowdle there could very much be a 1A, 1B. I think Chuba's a better running back, but I think they're going to use them both like that and try and actually possess the ball so that their offense can be competent, because their defense most definitely will not. That's my lean on it anyhow. That's why they also drafted Jonathan Brooks last year and Trevor Etienne this year. They want to run the ball and possess the ball. That's why they also got Tet. Because the best way to mask your horrible defense is to not put it on the field. And that's honestly what I think.
Yeah.
Because their defense, they've lost too many pieces.
They did. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's funny that last year Dowdle was going at the peak Dowdle hype, and we're not there yet. It's early in the summer, but wasn't Dowdle going pick 120 range, round 11?
Yeah, he was right around round 11. Sounds right.
And that was before he had proven anything. He last year he goes for over 1,000 total yards, right?
And was that just he just fell into the right situation and they didn't address it, or is he actually pretty decent?
1,300 yards, 12.4 fantasy points per game. He does all of that, and now we're saying he should be going in round 15, almost round 16 range sometimes. I get the changed teams, and now he's behind Chuba, of course. Like, I understand all that, but
all the coach speak from Canales has been like that they're going to use them both. So it's like he's getting pushed down for what? If anything, he should probably be right back where he was, or maybe a round lower. But I think four round falls too much.
I mean, he's proven his value. He definitely, and he's gosh, I think he could easily. If you told me that Dowdle's price was like 140, I'd be like, yeah, I'm still drafting him.
Well,
8% or 7%.
Look at where 140 would be. It's the same contingent running back range we were talking about, and he's just a contingent running back is what that's why I feel like him and Shipley are just too low based on who they're handcuffing and where they go, especially Shipley. With Saquon being the 2 overall pick, like if he goes down, I feel like Shipley has to jump all the way up to like round 14 where he would be picked. Just given that offense. And would they lean more back into Hurts, or would they actually say, okay, we got a good offensive line, we're still going to run the ball?
Yeah. And so with these 5 running backs, I think we are done there.
I'm done there. Yep, absolutely.
It looks like we don't have to take that third QB, right? We don't really have another obvious choice, although Stafford is fallen 28 picks. He finally goes. I mean, obviously we didn't have a way to get to him, but tight end wise, I think Otten is still there. No, Otten had gone pretty recently, I guess.
Yeah.
He was before our last pick. Green Bean got him. Okay, I did see that. I'd already forgotten.
As far as tight end goes, I feel good about the 2 we have.
Yeah.
Where you could wait, push that down some. If anything, I'd maybe just cover some wide receivers in here. Yep, you're thinking the same thing I am. If you'd like to be a cokehead this evening, we can bust out the bag. I can get down with that. We did take Stephon. Keenan Allen's interesting there too, because once he gets clicked, he's going to go up. I see your lower percentage of him. I don't hate covering that. Especially
I think Coker will still be there, and I think we do keep hammering wide receiver. I want to get some upside with a guy like Keenan Allen.
Yeah, we don't know where he'll go. Yeah, it could be anywhere. I mean, I've seen
we don't have like the worst bye-week overlap, so we're not super scared off of like where he might land, and that could sink our wide receiver room. I think we're pretty confident.
I asked go back to the Chargers.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. I mean, that's getting more crowded, but
yeah.
I asked Emo Cowboy on Monday, what would be 1 or 2 ideal landing spots for Keenan that would take him from a round 16 pick to a guy that's going to be going anywhere from round 11 to like 12 kind of range. Do you have any?
The Cardinals is the one that I think would make
I haven't
sense.
heard that one yet. Yeah, that's
Just
interesting.
because they outside the only thing I think him and McBride might work in the same area of the field, like underneath, but it could open Michael Wilson up more too. And Keenan, he's been a pretty good route runner his whole career, so he'll make the offense better. I just worry that Kyler would use him adequately with the way he uses McBride already. But I think Cards would be good. Like as far as who needs a bona fide like 2 receiver, Cards would be the spot.
That's an interesting one, and yeah, definitely a wide receiver room that could use a strong veteran presence. I
Right,
think.
because how great do you feel about MHJ after year 1, and you see where Michael Wilson gets picked still because
Yeah.
Trey McBride goes in the second round because they both go in, we've seen it from Trey McBride. We still haven't really seen it from Michael Wilson yet, or from Marvin Harrison. Rookie year, we get it. Coker is still there. He might.
It's a fun pick to go with our team bet on.
Yeah,
the
it is
Panthers.
too, because you have Christian Kirk and Keenan Allen who are a little bit dustier. So also Mike Evans and guy. So yeah, I don't hate a younger wide receiver there in case somebody, and that also gets you into what's a good week 17 game there with Coker.
Should we just go Gesicki considering he's fallen 20 plus picks?
That is a thought. I did notice that. Your call
That's
on
crazy.
that. That is quite and it would be a good third tight end. We took them all late, like 140
And it's
plus.
access to one more offense that we like.
Right. Yep, I like that. I thought about that. I wasn't gonna force that on you, but if you brought it up, I wasn't gonna say no.
And also, can we put ourselves in the position for a luxury pick where it's like we could have ended with the 2 tight ends, like in previous best ball seasons. I was in the mindset where like, yeah, I'm good with these 2. Give me Njoku, give me Ertz, I'm done. In this one, we like, Gesicki's falling. Let's go ahead and take him. Let's get access to one more offense that we like in the Bengals. And man, that's a really fun tight end room now.
I like that tight end room, and I feel like if you don't have one of the elites, you might want to have 3 bites at the apple, because in order to outscore them to win the thing, you're going to need one of your tight ends to have a really good week, or 2 in the playoff weeks.
Yeah, hit a touchdown, maybe a few extra yards above what you would expect. And
you have both Njoku and Ertz, who we've seen have those spike weeks late in the season.
Yes.
So, it's now their own possibilities. And then you tack on the third with Gesicki. You've seen him do it as well. You got 3 viable options at tight end where you don't need the quarterback, where you have quarterbacks that could cover them both. All 3 of the quarterbacks that actually are facilitating the tight ends we took late.
And I think we really are done.
Yeah, we're kind of luxury
at running
Noah
back.
Brown thing. What's the Noah Brown blurb say? I want to read what it says.
I think it was she was carted off. It was undisclosed.
Nothing yet, basically. I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to take him there given that, but
I know. I think we kind of hold off until we hear anything else.
It's an 18th round pick, so I mean,
right.
I'm not opposed to it. A lot of them down here are zeros anyway.
Right.
It might be the actual right pick, isn't it? Looking at the board, you can pick that one based on your exposures. You have him lower. You have the other 2 guys higher. You have AD Mitchell, Nick Westbrook-Akine, another bring back. You also have.
That's kind of a fun one.
That's a fun one. Yeah. I mean, you're in that game already for Achane, and you've got 2 bring backs.
We got Achane in it. We don't have to take
Yeah. I was trying to see if there was another fun piece down here for just like
Westbrook-Akine got injured too.
Jesus. All right. So this is going to be the.
I did not hear that one today. I heard the Noah Brown.
So we're running to the all cart team here. DK, I saw what you were thinking there.
Yeah, kind of fun. If I can cue him up.
I was trying to think if there was another piece in one of our games that's a bring back that's fun, but
sure. Yeah, I mean, we're so concentrated.
Maybe like Torrey
States.
Horton or something for the Rico Dowdle bring back. I'm trying to think if there's a another piece down here that's a wide receiver that's just something to slap on because we, like you said, it's kind of a luxury pick.
Do you have any preference on Wicks versus Mitchell?
No, not on. I feel they're kind of a similar bet there. Like
Maybe just
probably
some Mitchell upside?
Mitchell. Yeah, I think Mitchell just because he's in his second year and we could actually we've seen he's a good guy where we can get spike weeks. I don't know about with Dimes at quarterback, but the rest of their wide receiver room doesn't seem like there are any really big play artists outside of him.
Look, Daniel Jones and Jackson Dart and Shuck all about to go undrafted.
Wow, that's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, well, there must have been just a big push for 2 QBs in this room. I mean, we did it, so there's one more quarterback that didn't get drafted, and it looks like a lot of people followed suit.
That definitely falls right in line with the thing we were talking about with Tyler Shuck, and the Saints piece is falling because people are worried about the quarterback situation. If the wide receivers fall, Kamara goes up and Shuck goes undrafted, people are telling you what they think.
Yeah, no doubt. I think Mitchell was a fine pick. Obviously, Coker could have been fun, would have been interesting. But
Down there,
Mitchell, like you were saying, a year 2 breakout gives us one more upside. We didn't actually take a rookie receiver. Not that I'd have to think we necessarily have to have one on every team kind of thing. But a year 2 guy like Adonai Mitchell is very fun. And the bye week, doesn't line up with either 9 or 10, which we were a little bit exposed to, so just mixing something else in. Oh no, sorry, Trey Harris. I overlooked him. We did get one rookie in Trey Harris. Receiver wise, of course, with Scattaboo, we've got
such
that
a deal on Scattaboo there.
Yeah, a nice
round past.
A nice one. Definitely a nice one there. Let's see.
I like the way that running back room shook out too, because you got the deal on Scattaboo and then pulled up Eckler, so you're good at 5 there.
Yeah, Nick Westbrook-Akine is mine. Oh no, apparently he's injured.
Oh no.
Yeah, Tesla. Could have done Tesla. I think fun to mix in Tesla. I would take him when I build out around that game. I think Felton is equally
Felton's been another one where when I get into that Detroit, if I have pieces of Minnesota and Detroit, I've been tacking him on more than Tesla.
Right.
Not that I think either of them is a bad click, but I just feel like there's so many pieces in the Detroit offense that have to get fed before him.
I've got little bags, building up on both of these guys. So I like that game. So I think it's a good shout.
I guess the way that I think about Tesla and Felton is Tesla is so far down in the target tree, and Ty Felton is going to have a rookie quarterback. So they're kind of both really tough clicks down there as rookies because so much in front of them both ways.
That's a good point. There with Tesla, of course, he's kind of a contingent play because there's not enough targets to go around at the end of the day when you have such high caliber options with Gibbs. And then when for touches and targets, you have like Gibbs, Montgomery, Amon-Ra, he is coming back from an injury, the knee injury, the recovery. So maybe there's something there. But then, of course, J-Mo and Laporta. So at you're the 6th option on the offense. That's not the most exciting.
I also
you can make a similar argument for Adonai Mitchell, though. He's got Warren ahead of him now. He's got JT, Downs, Pittman, possibly even Alec Pierce. So maybe Mitchell is also on a worse offense, like the 6th option. Who knows?
But AD Mitchell, I feel like could provide you spike weeks before these other guys will, just based on what
and
he
good
does
draft capital.
Right. The other thing I was just thinking about Tesla when you brought that up with the Amon-Ra knee injury is they could have drafted him more to be a blocking wide receiver so they can take Amon-Ra more out of that role with his knee injury. Because he's down around the line of scrimmage running his slot merchant stuff where he's running motion and whatnot and cracking down. So they might actually just got a bigger wide receiver to run the blocking routes down there. So Amon-Ra takes some of that off of him, might actually open him up more. I didn't think about it until you just said that.
That's an interesting point. And I wonder, I'd have to ask like one of my buddies who went to Arkansas how much Tesla was used kind of in that capacity for Arkansas, because I don't think of them as like a high volume passing team. They're a run first team. Arkansas always was, right?
Right. And the coach speak has been good on Tesla, like Benjamin's saying over there. So I think they want, and it really fits if you think about what the Lions want to do. He's just kind of an in your face. I'm gonna beat you up at the line of scrimmage player, where that's what they're gonna do. So if he can get into that role and Amon-Ra can just kind of not be as in the box and beating himself up as much, that could work well for everyone.
Yeah.
That was an interesting pick from Brad Holmes, wasn't it? To trade up and trade, what was it, 2 future thirds for him? There's something going on there.
Definitely. And if anything, the more we hear about Tesla, that makes my alarm bells go off for Amon-Ra. And is he truly going to be available, week 1, if Tesla starts to get more, not just hype, but also just kind of more indication he's going to be used early on. It's like, well, are they slow rolling Amon-Ra? That would be interesting. So we'll have to tune in for that. And I think,
draft capital wise,
interesting name.
What was Amon-Ra draft capital wise versus Tesla?
Oh, Amon-Ra? Well, I mean, he was drafted in the 4th round, wasn't he?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, they actually have more draft capital in Tesla at this point.
Yeah.
3rd round.
But yeah, I mean, of course, 4 years ago is it's all right. It's all after a year or two, it doesn't really matter. Right. But I know what you're saying.
But what I'm saying is that they actually spent up like, hey, we want this guy. Whereas Amon-Ra was like, hey, we took this guy, because I'm not saying he's not good or anything. Don't get that twisted. Like, the dude's awesome. But they're showing you that they have an interest in that guy. And like you said, there's his knee injury right there in week 13.
Right.
Like, they might just not want to have him. Maybe they're going to actually get him more of the passing work and not have him involved in the blocking in the run game. That's why they drafted Tesla.
I have nothing to substantiate this next take on, but knowing a little bit about Amon-Ra and the kind of person he is, I feel like he's attacking the rehab. I feel like if it's anything he can control on how fast he gets back on the field, he's going to be the more optimistic outlook on injury recovery, because of the way he's like, he is a physical specimen, right? He is a outwork you kind of guy. He is a guy that is, in my head, when I think about like his, how would he attack rehab from an injury? He's going to be the guy who gets up early, does the extra rehab, does the extra things you need to do to make sure you're healthy.
Yeah, you feel like he'll be putting in that work, but you also think that as he's got older and become more of experienced of an NFL player, he might not want to put himself in those situations to get hurt as much. And maybe the coaching staff or the regime saw that as much, and they said, let's get this guy out of the box and get a big wide receiver in there to start blocking with him, and we can actually open this guy up and run the offense like we were planning on doing. Plus, it gets him out of the box, where Detroit's obviously going to run the ball. They've got Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. I worry a little bit about what their offensive line's done, with when they sent who was it, the lineman that went to Tennessee and then Frank Ragnow retired. But I still feel like the way their offense is built, Penei Sewell's a monster. They're going to run the ball. That's probably what the Tesla pick is about. And if what Jared Goff did in the playoffs last year gives you faith in Jared Goff, I'd love to know how, because it didn't me. So they probably think we might want to lean on that run game and minimize the mistakes that Goff's making. That's my thought on it anyhow.
There we go. We wrap this one up, the third Schnauzer of the night. Anthony, could I get your honest team review? Would you review this one for us?
This one, we've got Jaden Daniels and Baker Mayfield at quarterback, Devon Achane, Tony Pollard, Cam Scatabo, Austin Eckler, Rico Dowdle. 5 running back teams. We've got Achane, Evans, and Godwin, with Baker in the bring-back game for Week 17. We've got Jaden Daniels stacked with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens for the bring-back Week 17, that game as well. Not so much correlated on the later wide receiver pieces, just got some good value there and pieces that we think will either ascend in value or provide spike weeks. 3 tight end build at the end with all late tight ends and Njoku on a 9-pick fall. Pulled up Ertz a little bit to also put him on the same team with Jaden Daniels we had, and Gesicki on a 23-pick fall. Seems like good value there for 3 tight end room. I don't hate the way this team came together. It looks pretty decent.
Yeah.
Benjamin says it's fire. I think it's pretty good.
I kind of like this one. It seemed crazy at first to go, oh, both.
I did
Um,
this not long ago. That's why I felt absolutely fine leaning into it.
nice, nice. Yeah, I don't think I've fully committed this hard to like a, you know, I've definitely built out the double stack with Dak or with Jaden Daniels and getting the Cowboys receivers on different teams. I've built out Mike Evans and Godwin's before. I mean, who hasn't? But to do that, the Cowboys with all of these Commanders pieces and the Jaden Daniels early, and then get Baker Mayfield with the Bucks and the Devin Achan, still get value with Scattaboo, and get a nice little fall on both Njoku and Gesicki. This to me feels like what might be
I like this team.
yeah,
Yeah.
my probably going to be my favorite Schnauzer too. I mean, I've got 17 more to go, but this is going to be hard to beat. It's a top, and just on my own, portfolio. I'm sure there's other great teams out there that you guys are drafting in here as well. But for my own sakes, I'm gonna remember this team. I'm gonna be thinking about
I
this
like
one.
it. Yeah, definitely, especially for a 2 quarterback build. If they both stay healthy, you feel like it could make some noise.
Fantasy dog cracking me up.
What a second pay.
Yeah,
I hope we ship it.
I don't even know what first does. I haven't.
don't know
There's been so many tournaments come out recently, but this one is a 2 out of 12, aren't they all? 110, 110. That's pretty intimidating, actually. 110, 110. It gets tougher than that, in different tournaments, but that's not at all easy to get through.
No, not after
20
seeing the 1 out of
teams.
5s and stuff that were in the smaller ones.
Right. And then the 310 it's not too big, but it's a decent size. But that's a big prize up top. I mean, 100,000 for this, for a $3 entry, 20 max. That's going to be pretty incredible for somebody.
I mean,
And
6th place is that horrible? 17.5 on a $3 entry. I'd live with that.
that's pretty nice too. I'd be happy with 10th place. I mean,
Right.
I obviously want to win, but 10th place looks nice to me.
Yeah, that's what's nice about these little tournaments is it's just a little $3 fire off, but you can actually okay, say you place 15th next year, you just paid for your BBMs next year.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
something
good way
like
to
that.
think of it. And you never know what tournament. If you're doing volume, you never know which tournament you're going to make it to a finals in. So this is one that seems, although very hard to get there, there is a nice payout at the top.
Yeah, if
In
it
a
gets
larger
there,
tournament, but it's a 20 max, so kind of hard to do it.
I like what we when we pulled our ideas here, what we made. Solid
Okay.
team.
Drafting another team, share some of you. That is the last one for tonight for me because we're 3 hours in and I've drafted 3 teams, but we'll be back very soon. Tomorrow night, I'm not 100% sure what the schedule holds yet, but I'll be on Twitter at FFB Garage. I'll let you know as soon as I know. Also, make sure you're subscribed on the YouTube page. Hit notifications if you want to, come draft live. Otherwise, you'll see when I have like live streams going live literally every night, unless I'm over on Bindle's channel on every other Monday for the Ballsy show, which is 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. And we just had Emo Cowboy on Monday. Super fun time. So then, yeah, the rest of the week, got more streams coming, more drafts coming. And of course, Anthony from Best Ball on Call. Make sure you're subscribed to his channel in the description. And my man, Anthony, what do you got cooking up? What do you got coming up next?
I'm trying to think of what I have coming up next. I was supposed to be on here way earlier than I was tonight and passed out in the chair. So these 60-hour weeks are kind of wearing on the old man a little bit. But I'm going to try and get the next couple of weeks. I actually scheduled some vacation time that I'm hoping they'll grant me.
Nice.
So I'm going to try and get in here at random hours and just anytime I do something, I'll post it on Twitter. It's Best Ball on Call. It's all one word. So I'll usually, if I'm doing something, it might be in random hours just because of what I'm working, but I will post it on Twitter and anybody can jump in. And it's always, it's pretty laid back, just like this. Not necessarily the late nights like you're doing. Mine might be more early mornings, but I definitely try and get them in when I can.
Awesome. Yeah, I have caught you live early sometimes.
Yeah, it's got to be like wake up time for you when you catch me. It's like 8 a.m. here. It's got to be like 6 in the morning there.
But yeah, it's always good to see you live and looking forward to
The community's
doing some more
growing, and
drafts this summer. You know, whether I'm
it's
in
awesome.
whether I'm in your stream catching you live or somebody else's, or if you get you back, we'll get you back on here again soon. Always fun to draft with you, my man. Always good to see you in the chat and see your
I'm
streams.
around.
You're definitely around.
And you
Appreciate it.
definitely
Appreciate the support.
You still never get the Candyman imposter in your drafts. I don't know how.
I haven't yet. I think I've drafted with him in the past, in a past year. I haven't seen him yet this time, but I'm on the lookout.
The one draft of mine that you came in, there was literally another Candyman in the draft when you came in there. I'm like, how does this happen? And never in your drafts.
Yeah. And like Anthony says, also, don't forget to subscribe to Huhaim's channel, one of the OGs.
Yeah,
Going live all
is
the
awesome.
time. He put out some content today. Huhaims, you drafted an FFPC draft today. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what he said. He was getting into more of the FFP stuff. I haven't dipped my toes in that. Like, total transparency, last year, I started watching all the best ball stuff and everything like that on PPR Tyler's stream in like February or March. I knew nothing about this at all. Underdog wasn't even legal in Michigan last year. When
Incredible.
Tyler was streaming, I would drive down to my mom's house in Ohio when his drafts were going on to draft teams with him and then drive home, half-hour drive. It was real. You could see it. Like, you could see in his chats last year, I'd be like, all right, I just got here. Give me a minute. It was so funny. Like, because you couldn't do it here. I can't imagine what New York went through, how they had it, and then got rug pulled. I would lose my mind.
Incredible. Yeah, I know. It's wild. That's wild. Well, you've found the right community. You know, I've always said the best ball community is the best community in fantasy football. And
it's growing and it's awesome.
It's awesome. It's growing. A lot of great people like Anthony here, like all y'all in the chat. I'm gonna have to go back and check out what Huhaims was up to, because I saw him streaming earlier today, and I got to catch up on that. And you know, guys, we're gonna be here drafting best ball teams all summer, so stick around, come draft with us, say what's up in the chat, get active, ask questions,
get your ass in a circle of trust.
Get in the circle of trust. A lot of really sharp drafters in here. A lot of knowledgeable guys, and we're just here to have fun and learn something new. So I appreciate you guys stopping in tonight. We'll catch you in another one real soon. Any last words for the people, Anthony?
I had a great time tonight joining the Fantasy Football Garage, and with you, Candyman, always a pleasure. I enjoy absorbing all the knowledge that you get to bring forth to this stream every night, and I hope everyone else takes the same thing as well from it. And I look forward to being back on here again with you soon if my sleep schedule allows it.
Oh, we can make that happen.
I'll
sure.
Definitely make it happen.
Kind words, my man. Appreciate that. And all right, guys, we're gonna call it on that one. We'll be drafting some more schnauzers sooner than later, but I think it's gonna be open for a little while. Ooh, yes, very fun. So we'll catch you guys another one soon. Peace out. Let's kick it to the outro.